दे जाल तेरे नी खुदा दा कहर कुड़े नैन बेकाबू तेरे बनदे आ जहर कुड़े बस इको मंगी रब तो मंगी तेरी खैर कुड़े साडा कसूर सिकादा कंडिया जो वहर कुड़े माड़ी तू कीती बेहिसाब सोहणीए माड़ी तू कीती बेहिसाब ऐदा नहीं चलदे प्यार सोहणीए ऐदा नहीं चलदे प्यार ऐदा नहीं चलदे प्यार सोहणीए ऐदा नहीं चलदे प्यार
behind closes in and Rose finds himself against the world. 3 to take down. A sheriff and 4 bullets and no time for the reload. He's
yellow guys.
He was avoiding it. A pixel
अभी
too
से
close.
चल रहा है मैच। तो कैसे हैं आप सब?
मैच नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है।
हाँ चालू कर रहा हूँ, रुक जाओ। तो इसका है ना वो, तो इस वजह से प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है।
Alright, I'm back and I see a guest, Delights.
Stream is also back.
क्या भाई Delight, how are you?
I am good.
अच्छा तू वहां से ही कर रहा है क्या? वीडियो दिखा रहा है?
Yes.
चलो
दिखा भाई, मैंने मिस कर दिया।
YouTube वाला सिलेक्टेड है ये रहा।
दिखा अच्छा है तो
दिखा नहीं, इधर स्ट्रीम हो रहा है, उधर जाके करो लेफ्ट राइट, समझे? बहुत खतरनाक मैच चल रहा है हमारा। क्या चेक नहीं कर रहा है यार, ये पीछे से 2 बार किल ले गया ऐसे ओमन, वहाँ खड़ा रह गया।
And with a round like this, you need so much more pistols for BBL.
It's so beautiful.
The Spectre left on the floor. Nice shot by Krevin. The question of damage.
Right click like एक HP है लौंडा। I think 100 thieves का round है यार।
They seem to have a handle on it. But pretty good. As far as the question of damage, I would say that is a success.
Yeah, no, 3 players.
कौन जीतता हुआ लग रहा है तेरे को?
I think it's clearly going to be.
I think ये हमें जनता से पूछना चाहिए एक पोल डाल के।
भाई मैं पोल ही डाल रहा हूँ, मैं इसलिए जब तक इससे पूछ रहा था।
Even some of those fights being quite isolated because they got sectioned off by the wall. So
I guess it's 100 thieves.
The main thing is getting that conversion.
नहीं मेरे को BBL लगता है।
We need the original 100 thieves back with Hiko.
Yep. That can win.
400 thieves. It is an outlaw, it is a spectre, and it is pistols.
Hiko, Ethan, Steel as IGL.
This looks more like if you lost
blue-haired Londa देख रहा है?
in the second round.
Blue head?
ये मारता है blue color के बाल वाला।
I think a lot of teams will even invest more into this to give them a little bit of a chance. Just in terms of the
चैट में लिखो यार, डिलीट चैट में नहीं लिख रहा था।
Of course, Timotino can save up that cash for an operator. But with bandits in the current state, remember this was a weapon that was used in a
Hello डिलीट भाई, कैसे हो?
over in London, and now it's been buffed.
I'm good.
So it's no surprise to see it have such a
गाइस हमारी एडवांस चैट है, चैट लिखती है तो इधर हेडफोन में सुनाई देता है। Oh my god, how you streaming? I'm a co-streamer brother. सी पे जा रहे हैं यार, बट उन पे बाय 100 चीज पे है नहीं, वो राउंड उनका निकला था फिर भी। घुस जाओ रीलोड से पहले तो घुस जाओ। स्लो कर दिया उसको। ऐसा उड़ो तो मुझे सपोर्ट करे ना, तो मैं इतना आगे बढ़ता जाऊं। ओमन जाने के मूड में।
ऐसा ही सपोर्ट देता हूँ मैं।
बैंडेड नहीं दो किल लिए जारिकिन पे ये मत उठाइए, उठाते मरेगा, कर्स्ड है। पीछे से आ रहा है, बहुत तेज आ रहा है, नाइफ करेगा ये। क्रूवन What's up, Richie? I think it's BBL today. Yep, I also think so. अरे हक दिया।
I like that Krevin after that is really hard.
I guess 100 thieves को जीतने के लिए बैंक को थोड़ा स्टेप अप करना पड़ेगा।
You know, these guys are having fun.
जैसा मैं देख पा
I
रहा
mean,
हूँ.
he's a good teammate. That's what you'll see from Sentinels a lot of the time. Obviously, he felt bad for Rose earlier on.
एक
The couple
superstar
shots that were
round
missed,
चाहिए
and he
एंट्री
said,
उसको
"Look, I'll
सही
make
से.
him feel a bit better. I won't let a guy kill me, but I'll let
सुना
him hit me."
साला
Oh, look,
दे
see,
रहा है.
it could happen to any of us. Any of us, bro. You, me.
Tuna,
Probably
my
not LaRoque,
God.
but,
She's
you know.
like, you,
Me,
but you.
but mostly you.
बस
Mostly
you
you.
मत लाई that.
On this map.
Me, look, me too, but
Especially on this
बस
map. You
कोई
guys
streamer
are-
है.
probably you.
I actually think Rose
सभी
is
Insta
like
पे
a
रहा.
50% hit rate on people looking the opposite way.
Hello.
Only on this map.
यारो
don't know why.
स्ट्रीम चालू है
Aggressive
guys.
start
पहले
out
बता दूं.
from the defensive side. This is their
गया लाइन अप. अब किसी और को मिल गई बेली के.
क्या खेल रहे हो?
That aggression has been massively
watch party.
successful, beating BBL at their own game and
Watch party? क्या बात कर रहा है?
aggressive positioning.
They're
They're not
co-
shying
streamer
away from
now.
a fight, especially with that comeback.
EWC
You start to worry a little bit that maybe
EWC का लेना
they're going
नहीं
to fall
था।
back into passive positions,
Lily
allow
eyes.
BBL that space, but that is not the case.
ये तो राउंड नहीं
whatsoever.
निकलेगा. I don't think so. कि और देख लिया.
Arsenal
पर
was
देख लिया उसको
expected
पता
in this
है.
call.
अरे
Okay, that's awkward, and that's the spike, but I
Help
don't
के लिए
think it's
लौंडे
gonna
आ गए
matter
भाई.
for long. Everybody falls and
साला
everybody
हर एक
stands
राउंड एक
on the
इधर
side
एक
of
इधर
100
एक इधर एक
Thieves.
उधर.
They have leveled things up
कोट
once
मत कर मेरा
again.
अकाउंट.
Now we look towards BBL to see what they have on that attack side, and if this is now going to be an extension, just as we saw in the last half.
रिपोर्ट करूंगा तेरा अकाउंट. सही है भाई, करो करो.
वो बी पे हमेशा
Well,
ओफेंगल ही
considering
खेल
how
रहा है
things
यार.
have gone,
एक बंदा बी का
a
हमेशा.
streak of rounds doesn't really mean anything
टीम्स का सेटअप सेम सही रहता है वैसे. मैंने ये बात देखी अभी.
for 100 Thieves. They build up this defensive
डिफेंस
side.
में लारोक था
3
तब वो
out of 4
ओफेंगल
so
खेल रहा
far.
था बी पे.
Likely to be another with such weaknesses here. The BBL were slow to start, but they found their footing eventually. Here on the attack side, I don't think they have those same excuses, though. The start of this round,
Finally
much
you
more
become the
direct
big
towards
stream,
C
big
side.
They're
YouTuber.
trying to
They get
bait
up,
the wall, but
and they're
not there.
Big
Sharky
YouTuber.
watching our
halted as well. Deeper
Likes
utility in
दो ही
play
दिखते
this
हैं.
time.
नहीं
They don't
बंदे
hear the
होंगे.
thorns as they
लाइक
step
करो
in.
गाइस. तुम लाइक
Up
नहीं
top
करते हो ना.
instead, but
उद्धव
Asuna
शर्मा
starting to
हेटर.
call
लाइक का
Wild as
चैल
well, but
पटवा.
that Ultimate has traded it out. The showstopper bringing weapons into the hands of BBL
बढ़िया
now.
ले ट्यूबलाइट जी. ट्यूबलाइट.
That was Rocks on an adventure. The spike has been left alone.
एक तो नहीं है
भाई
यार.
ये बहुत बहुत भयंकर ही बैकस्टैब आते हैं भाई. भाई भाई
It's
इसका
going to be the
गेम
push
है.
through towards the spawn. This is
भाई
brilliant
इसका
from
गेम
Lovers
है.
Rock. He's looking to try again.
ओह,
They never expected
क्या
it to be
ट्रांसफर
here.
किया.
The run through immediately was so aggressive from Lovers
लाइक भी
Rock.
करूंगा और बाद में रिपोर्ट.
But that was perfection.
कोट मत
Leaves
कर.
Bang to try and clutch. With two now back together. Well, to an extent. The Rock falling further
एक
behind.
बात
Look
बताओ
at
अपन
the
को इनका
time that's
क्रॉसहेयर
already gone.
ओरिजिनल
He's
वाला
having to
दिखता है
clear
कि
every single angle methodically
डिफॉल्ट दिखता है
because
कि क्या?
of how
ओरिजिनल.
aggressive his opponent was just moments ago. A nice
शो
shot
कर रहा
though.
है वो. अच्छा उसको लगा वो हो
I
गया.
don't know if
अरे
that's the time to
Time
slow
नहीं
no,
है.
it doesn't. That's unfortunate. A nice
थ्रो मत कर
attempt
दो
from
भाई.
Bang
ऐसे
and a
लो
costly
बीबीएल.
round for BBL. But
टीम
honestly,
की
I think
वॉल्यूम
they'll take the
2-3%
round.
बढ़ा दो और अपने
A win
हेडफोन
is a
की वॉल्यूम
win,
कम कर
that's
दो.
for sure. Yeah, BBL
क्या मेरे
taking the
वॉल्यूम
lead
मेरी
with a
माइक की?
thrifty buy. They came in
नहीं
here
नहीं माइक की नहीं
with
जो
stingers
तुमको
for the
तो
most part. Their objective
मेरे
to
को
go towards
स्ट्रीम
that
की
wall. I
बढ़ाऊं
think
क्या?
possibly even split to B after. I'm not sure what the idea was on hitting, or if they were going to break through it as a unit. And then they realize it's not there. They realize the setup has changed, that there's a danger lurking there. The danger
जाएगी तो
dealt with
next
so
up
quickly, but this cerebral play from Lovers
तो
Rock
मारा
is
भाई
what
इसने
gives
क्या
them that
ट्रांसफर
clean
किया पहली
exit.
गोली.
Even though Bang's able to find those two kills, which
मेरे
is
को
fair play
डिस्कॉर्ड
to him
चलाना
for
नहीं
that, but
आता.
time
अबे
was his
डिस्कॉर्ड
biggest
चलाना आने
enemy.
में
Not
क्या है?
one he stood a
चलाना क्या है?
chance of
डिस्कॉर्ड
defeating.
बस है.
A timeout now called
उस पे
by
होना रहता
100
है
Thieves.
बस.
They will freeze the clock for a moment
चलाने का कुछ
and
नहीं
have
है
a
उसमें.
chat. One last chat, unless BBL give them one.
100 Thieves का आखिरी टाइम आउट है कि पहला ही
Now
है?
in a dangerous position.
106
It's
को कोई
quite fun
सपोर्ट नहीं
being
कर रहा.
in
मैं
this
देख
lobby because obviously you've got America's versus
उद्धव भाई बता
EMEA.
किसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है? 100
But
Thieves
when
की
it comes to
बीबीएल.
coaching staff, it's EMEA versus EMEA. MBS,
We'll be
a
back to see
previous
the results. Bye
champions
bye.
winner, the first to ever
वो
do it.
भाई का ऐसा है कि वो उसको सपोर्ट करेंगे
course,
जो
His assistant coach
रिची
उद्धव भाई को
uh,
बीड़ी
the
पिलाएगा.
Masters Copenhagen winner. So
बीड़ी
they've
पिलाएगा
got
सिर्फ
very
उसको.
good people behind the scenes on either
तो
side
ना
of things.
BBL
Of
वाले
course,
पिला रहे ना 100
he
Thieves
has
वाले
been
पिला रहे
noted
I
with the
support
rise
India.
of this
वो
BBL
EMC में
roster through the
बताएंगे.
tier 2
ये
to
EWC
Ascension
है.
winners to making it to a
इसमें
Masters.
इंडिया नहीं है.
Making it
सारे
here.
orgs हैं.
Congratulations.
You know, the real shame, MBS, there's a lot of things he doesn't get as much credit for as he should, but
मैंने तो सुना था तो support करता है मेसी को.
don't worry, it's not a dig.
इंडिया कैसे आ गया? ये मेसी कौन सा इंडियन?
It's his shirts, man. His shirt game needs
नहीं
a
है ना,
lot
तो इंडिया
more
की तरफ से
credit.
खेलते हैं.
The guy, he
Messi
did
वाले
it, and he did it in style. And that's
अबे
why
और
we're pushing back into the game in BBL. Looking again to
rotation
take
बहुत
the pace
fast
up
है
towards that C site, met
तीन
by
बंदे आ
utility,
गए
met by a wall.
और
They
ये
don't want
push
to
हो
go
गया
through
रबल
it.
पे.
Instead,
तुम
they'll
लोग
send it back
देखो
in the other
और
direction.
हमें
A big
पूरा
risk at this
घूमते हैं.
stage. You can see the pin going down. They know A main could have been pushed up in. We have no control over B. Swinging the door, sure, we'll
Rubble
give you a
push
glance,
देगा
but they
ही
could be
देख
behind the boxes. They could already be up. The Prowler will at least give you a bit of security.
मेसी इंडिया के
But that
पूजा
hasn't
करता
taken
था.
place. But then you think about
क्या
A main.
बात कर रहा है?
However, I think BBL wants 100
मेसी
Thieves
पूजा
to be
पूजा
pushed
वाला
up.
लौंडा है.
They know that if someone's here, they're probably on their own at this
गेम से
stage. And
रिलेटेड
if they are,
बातचीत ज़्यादा करना
we can outnumber
और
them.
सिलेक्शन देना
We can overwhelm them.
और स्टैट्स
Let's see if that is the case.
क्लियर करवा दिया बट उनको पता नहीं लगा क्लियर हुआ नहीं. क्लियर हुआ नहीं, किसी को अंदाजा नहीं है. एक ही ले पाया. भाई वो बीबीएल वाले वो कर रहे हैं यार, डेड बॉडी पे जबरदस्ती गोलियां दे रहे हैं, वो बीएम कर रहे हैं थोड़ा थोड़ा. एक एचपी है यार नियॉन, वो तो चेक नहीं कर रहा है कॉर्नर.
A quick flick from either side.
खत्म कर दिया इन्होंने
And
तो
that's them
अचानक.
level once again. And I will say I like the adaptation because I think what we saw in this round was there was a C site hit where they dominated the first one, 100 Thieves. Yep. Then they go, okay, well, they're not going to do that again. And they did. So then after a pause, they go...
Clean नहीं था पहला, नहीं तो शायद 2 किल मिल सकती थी.
I have a feeling. Because a lot of teams would go, well, they're not just going to keep going C. So they stack up. There was 3 players on the C site early. They had all of the utility there. They have a paranoia. And BBL go, we have to go the other way. And that's where they have the aggressive positioning from Timotino, the off angle from Vora, and then the rotations. That's just a good read coming out from 100 Thieves.
And now Viper's pit immediately put down on the C site. So if you want to come see another time, it's going to be more difficult than before. BBL should be looking elsewhere. You go towards A, Timotino's there. In this round,
इसमें इंडिया की कोई टीम आएगी अभी, मतलब इंडिया की उसकी टीम है. उसका ओनर इंडियन है बट प्लेयर्स इंडियन नहीं है.
And in these rounds, like in these pistol
ग्लोबल
rounds,
esports है.
okay, I'll give Lovers Rock on a neon with a judge. I'm terrified of him. But LaRock is really the shining light. If someone's going to come out of these with like 4 quick share of headshots, it's normally that guy. It's certainly not that guy now.
I got Spike.
You have this spy.
The worrying thing is
एक बाहर आके भी खेल रहा है.
but it's like, I feel like there's only like a 1% less chance that Loiter or Kreven does.
भाई ये घुसना चाह रहे हैं Viper ult में.
This is true.
Kreven with pistols, man. Like sometimes he does stuff where I'm just like, that makes no sense. But no, I think, especially with the Viper's play, with a Vice Wall in position to help out Cryo, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to get into this position. They even have it covered. With Asana on the other side.
Rotation हो गया B की
It's a
तरह.
nice little hold.
Oman
It's
wait
one
कर
that
रहा
I
है
think
बहुत
they
भयंकर.
desperately wanted to make sure this goes through. And while there's one of those pistol headshots,
पकड़ लिया फेड को पकड़ लिया.
Loiter heard you, I think.
They're going to get a plant out of
A
this.
जा रहा है.
How in the world has this
nice
worked?
one,
This strategy started by Lovers Rock realizing there's a Viper in a pit and a Vice here. I'm going to run in through it.
तू स्ट्रीम करेगा वाला मैच. Yes.
3 versus 4. Still a lot of work to be done. They've not got the weapon
देखना
to
पड़ेगा
make this work.
शेड्यूल क्या
Kreven
है
does
करेंगे.
have a good position and okay, at least a decent shot, but
कल
now
नहीं
they
है
know one
global
player
का.
off site. So pick up the pace towards it. Bait out that fight. That
Global
man's
का
already dealt with.
परसों
And the
आएगा.
classic in hand, Rose didn't stand a chance. I think even getting a plant out of that
भाई
honestly was a
प्रॉपर
silver
एक
lining
राउंड
for
ये
BBL,
एक राउंड वो
but
एक राउंड
the
ये
lead
एक
for
राउंड वो
100
जीत
Thieves
रहा है.
in double digits secured.
इनको कोई बाय बाय से फर्क नहीं
You
पड़
can
रहा.
see after the pause,
Global का है,
they've managed to find that little bit of
तो
extra
5 तारीख का
semblance. I don't mind the ult being invested into this round as well. It's like you know that there's a good likelihood that they're going to do something hyper aggressive. Like, I don't know, slide through with the judge. So you put the Viper's pin in to make that player more vulnerable, and it almost baits them into thinking that maybe there isn't a second player there, even though the Vice Wall was there.
टेंशन के लिए दे दो.
The thorns. They threw the thorns like 3 seconds before that. So you knew at that, but they didn't, right? And then they said, let's go. Okay, we're going to go in 5 seconds. Thorns came in, and most people go, actually, let's go anywhere else. And Lovers Rock was like, no, I've already been let off the leash. You let go of it. I'm gone.
He's like, yeah, he's literally like, when you're pet and you're like holding on and you go like, you wouldn't just run off if I let go of
this
free
while I
white
this thing up,
PC
turn around, he's gone.
It's like
He's just gone.
into the woods. You would never see him again.
Chasing a squirrel.
But no, if there's any player that has absolutely no fear, I was going to say in this tournament, but 11 does give him a run for his money. Between the two of them, though, a lot of aggression that can come through. And now the pause on the other side. Now, bear in mind, last time we saw a pause from BBL, they went from 4-0 down to winning the half 7-5, and I believe they won 5 rounds in a row. So we'll see what Key has on offer. Of course, it gives the same opportunity for MBS and Doombros have the conversation with their side. A close back and forth map, and honestly one where I feel like both teams are playing well. I feel like we've seen some closer games so far where I'm looking at a lot of the mistakes rather than just solid game plan.
ये round I guess decide करेगा थोड़ा
game plan, immediate
BBL है कि
usage
नहीं game
of that convergence path, denying them the A control. But it hasn't caught
भाई अंश लेके कंट्रोल लिया है. हमारे बंदे तो नेट देने को ही शर्मा जाते हैं कि कौन देगा नेट.
We C at the start of every round, so this time let's go A at the start and then rush into C, and hopefully
चार बंदे हैं.
Device and Viper again. Unfortunately, they are running into Device and Viper again, but those players won't have weapons if they stick around. Steel Garden going through, catching one at least. As soon as going to have to wait, but he has one of his own. Might be what they're closing back in the distance for. The wall, the Thorns have bought time, and BBL canceled the play, looking elsewhere. And in fact, I think this is a learning from last round where they put a lot of pressure on the C side, even with the 2 Sentinels there, even with the quasi-Sentinel Viper, even with the pit, they left the A side open. So this time they try to put that pressure on again, but look at 100 Thieves reacting. Vor is the second man, and there's a third coming. Bang! Oh,
दिख गया.
But they spotted him. Still, he gets one and gets out.
बच गया भाई.
Great work. 30 seconds left, but then they double back again. It's the A, the C, the A.
Split बना रहे हैं भाई ये, और जा भी वापस A ही रहे.
Now back to the A again.
नहीं वापस भी
Bang
जा
is
रहे
trying to
हैं.
retake.
तो वही चला गया. साले पे walls हैं भाई इन पे तो.
Back around, but Creven is
perfect read कर रहा है.
Again, the start of these rounds looked incredibly good, but those 2 players finding kills in the B site puts the pressure onto Cryo to get anything done here. He was waiting for the planter to make a move. Instead, they're getting aggressive onto him. And although it's a hell of a lot of damage, 2 players onto 5 HP, the problem is Bang is also low. A bullet to him or either of the other 2. Daddy's going to try and bait them in. The first one comes easy. Next 2, though, might be slightly more difficult. Rose wrapping around from above. And he doesn't even know that there's no one else around that corner anymore. 10-10, a strike back from BBL, and a back and forth all the way through the round.
That's one of those rounds you really like to still have one pause left to use. On the side of 100 Thieves, I don't know how you're supposed to track what BBL are doing when they go A to C to A to B. The pacing there as well, like they're still putting pressure on the A site when that flank comes through. It's a small oversight in those rotations, but you can understand why they got their eye on the prize a little too much.
20 seconds left. Loiter is spamming a box, and while he's doing that, 2 teammates enter into the B site. Like, it's difficult to spot everything they're doing because it feels like there's a lot of game plans going on. That's a shot connected initially by Timotino, but a kill not garnered. And a pacey hit looking to come up on the other side, but as soon as done well, at least at the start.
Oh, that flash. It bought him time. It kept him in Larocque in position and allowed Vora to come through with the kill. Now Cryo's there to back him up. The site's been taken, kind of. A plank could be secure, but Rose, he wants to battle deep. A 2v5, not worth it. A 2v4, still not good enough, but now Creven's all alone.
भाई अगर उनका रोटेशन चल रहा है और स्लो काम कर रहा है तो वही क्यों नहीं करते? एक राउंड करते हैं उसमें जीतते हैं फिर रश कर देते हैं. वो भी वाइस पे. रश करना था तो ऊपर बी पे कर देते.
Huge boost to the economy for 100 Thieves, meaning that now BBL are basically just up against full buys for the rest of the half.
Full buy on पे permanent.
Crunch round, there's no doubt about it. There's not too many occasions where you'd be seeing Creven on the opposite side of the map saving his gun, but when he's got 3,000 credits, when Larocque has enough to buy and the other teammates don't,
पहला मैं BBL लेना तो फिर क्या
basically put yourself in a position to make sure something can be purchased into the next round, because you do not want to allow 100 Thieves up to 12.
अगले मैप के लिए. अब ये ज़्यादा प्रेशर में खेलेंगे अगर
a
वो जीत
likely scenario. And again, I feel like Asuna has been playing incredibly well as those site anchors, be it covering on the C site to help out Cryo, or be it now on the other side of the map on A, basically finding that opener, having the flash to set up his teammate while he's being chased down. They knew, because they knew on the BBL side, if they clear him, that A site is a lot more open, and Vora just there to cover. It's worked out wonderfully, but as we've seen so far in this, well, at least in the last few rounds, there hasn't been any consistency with winning the rounds. There's been a strike back almost every single time, and now we're going to have to look towards BBL. But as you said, there are no more check-ins with coaching staff unless we go to overtime.
Unless we go to overtime.
You can see the true state of
the
BBL economy right now.
12 kill.
2 sheriffs in a classic. One away from the Nightfall farming. That could be good, but Timotino, he's going aggressive. It's a risky play. And up against the Eco, I think he's going to regret that. The op now recovered. That's
aggressive जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी.
And indeed, with Lover's Rock having that in his hands.
He didn't give his teammate the Guardian before he went and got that. I will say,
oh, he's left at the door?
Yeah.
Oh, he has?
That has annoyed me a little bit, but, you know.
Very rude.
Rose has now been dropped as well.
Rose
Still nobody able to get that.
Does anyone want the Guardian?
But then again, it's Kreven and Loiter. They might even be better with the Sheriffs, with how they've been playing so far. Push up all the way through C.
यही घुस रहा है भाई. 3 बंदे घुस रहा और अकेला भाई पर बैठा हुआ.
It doesn't seem like
सीधे
there's
निकल
any
जाए
world in
left
which
से.
they go back from this stage.
मजा है.
That smoke's going to fade soon for Cryo. He has to get a move on, a risk, having to stand his ground against many men. Blinded up, he still lands LaRock.
कुछ भी मारेगा तो नहीं चलेगा
for 100 Thieves is their reward. Even with those recovered weapons, that op is going to be left on the floor for now. The Spike trying to move towards the B side, it seems, with that door open, but Kreven's being caught, and now the TP is going to have to be used. Lloyd is going to back himself in this one. You certainly can't blame him for it, and he's heard the door. He knows that Asuna's here. There's a chance to isolate that fight if given. Gotta be careful. Lloyd might not have had the best of games so far, but this is a man that will win rounds like this if given the opportunity.
एक main है. Main वाले से लड़ना चाह रहा है, but main वाला fight नहीं दे रहा.
Put him in a position where he couldn't move forward for the moment, but then he does it a little bit later on.
Paranoia utilized,
and he's being wrapped on incredibly fast. I don't even think he knows, but it's a nice shot, at least on one. Vora had to be lightning fast with that trade, but he is 12 to 10. Map point now for 100 Thieves, but you have to bear in mind, that was them saving credits. That was them putting money away so they could buy on a rainy day. Well, BBL's rainy day is right now. They're going to be investing everything into this next round.
Throw कर रहा है भाई टिमोटिनो.
Cryo's gotten away with murder on that. The blast pack jump out from LaRock after the paranoia lands.
That was a nice shot if he wasn't blind.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think he saw him blast pack.
Yeah, you still have to
predict where
he's
going.
Less.
Stage पे हम बूढ़े हो गए अब. ये 18 साल के लौंडे हैं.
There were a few moments where it looked shaky. The 4-0 start to the 7-5 half, but they have recovered this nicely. Robbed rounds from BBL. Now shot through the smoke, takes down Bang. Do they know? Do they suspect a second player here? If Vora can beat a snake, okay, they do. The Prowlers hit the snake. Getting dealt with. They burned the grass with the Nightmare on anybody that's there.
Let's go.
And the,
Let's go.
Cryo.
और दोनों की इनफाइट दोनों ही हैं.
TP going to be taken by Lloyd.
पीछे से लौंडा आ रहा है बीच से. पीक ले ले भाई मेरे.
Wrapping up behind. A paranoia seals the deal. 11 for BBL. One more round in regulation. It's on 100 Thieves to close it.
You mentioned like, Loiter is good at winning BS rounds. That was him getting 2 instant headshots through smoke. So I think you've kind of proven a point there, but
or so he has.
He didn't need to prove it. We already knew, but like, yeah, just ridiculous stuff coming through and putting them in a position to take this one to overtime. Of course, the last time they played this map, it also went to overtime. 16-18 defeat versus EDG. They're going to look to try and right the wrongs if they get there, but you can see they haven't got 2 rounds in a row in this second half. This would have to be the first.
Oh, very direct to be started for BBL. We haven't seen much of this and already passed the Nightfall. Deep play coming from LaRock, but yeah, he did. He got clipped by the very edge of it, and the Prowler reveals exactly where he's gone. Now they can split this side, something that has been a trouble at times. Players around this stairs position, but now they're delayed on the rotate back through. They're looking for the rock, but he's the one to find. Bang now down.
Focus हटा दिया अपना. So सारा था.
The overtime on the horizon, and weakness is there for 100 Thieves, and the Viper's Pit already used on the other side of the map, and Asuna already down. It's starting to look like we're going there.
No such thing as an easy victory. 3v5 needed. Sniper honed in on the angle.
Let's go.
And a connected shot.
मार निकल के डरना नहीं है.
Desperately low on HP.
अपना लौंडा आ गया
also
पीछे.
adds another to the body pile. Time seems inevitable.
उसने करके छोड़ दी बस करी नहीं.
Cryo is currently fighting demons. He's fighting shadows in the spawn. He's not even able to leave.
Overtime भाई पहला match overtime.
And he now has a 1v5 with 13 HP. If you believe in that, you're mad. 12-12. OT once again on Lotus. BBL never make their map choice easy, but they are still in the map.
Listen, they came here to put on a show. You got to respect them for it. A game so good, we don't want it to end. And we're going to swing into overtime with a lot of learnings for both squads. Again, when we see BBL move back to that defensive side, the main thing I want to see, and I think it's a difficult balance between predictability and following the game plan that has worked, but I want to see that early aggression. It's up to them how they're going to taper that, because we've seen moments where it's like a 5v2.
Now we support new talent.
And then they keep going. And then they give opportunity after opportunity, and 100 Thieves come close and even sometimes win those rounds. BBL, it's a delicate balance, and I'm not sure that they have it down.
The good news is you are going to get the aggression you want. The bad news is it's not going to be tempered. And there you go already. They're pushing C. They're pushing A. The only place they're not pushing is B. But early information. Look at the push-up already from Lovers Rock. Now, he hasn't gone into the operator, which should tell you all you need to know. He's not going to
map control नहीं रख रहे हैं
Now, there is, of course, the Vice
सारे ये पे आ गए और उन पे पूरी info है. वो सारे वो भी आ गए B और A पे.
That Vice wall is not in the same spot that it was before. Often, and in almost all the rounds, 100 Thieves are putting it outside C. But BBL, remember, Rose walks up on B, catches them off towards the end of the first half. Now they change it because they're committing. They're taking this A site no matter what. Remember, in regulation for the attack, what worked was that C site. But they expect an adaptation. The problem is, with this much time gone, BBL have made the read. They've pushed C. They've taken all the space. The rotates are here. There's 4 players, now 3, standing by. Lloyd is a big pick. Rock on. This is looking a whole lot better. Finding his moment to stand up, to stand tall as the hero. Rose needs to be so careful. Timotino's been making this play when they take the site almost every time if they have a man advantage. But Rose sneaks through. Catches the planter and has a chance for so much more. He's ready for that play from Timotino, but the shot doesn't land.
Coming through, so still plenty of time for the remainder, but a man advantage. And Timotino's gone nowhere, but he will now drop back into a 2v2. Bora was spotted as well, but Cryo might have gone unnoticed. They bypassed his position, and because of that, he has one for free. That's going to put them in an advantageous spot, and they will close. They hold the line. They get another chance at map point on their opponent's choice.
BBL का मैप है ये बताओ.
Crack that vault door for 100 Thieves coming into this.
BBL अपने मैप पे हारेगी तो कैसे चलेगा?
In such a solid way. It looked like it could be a mismatch, but then BBL found their identity. This time they try to lean on that same defensive side aggression. They get that early flank. They get the information. They get the rotations through, and yet the round falls. That's a different vibe than what we've seen before. And now they've got to recover it on the attack. A direct play from both teams. It's clear 100 Thieves want to fight for A main. They want to scrap for it, but they're going to have to give up that control. And now Bang's kind of in no man's land. He's a little stuck, but the TP gets him to safety.
उनके 3 बंदे पे हैं already, ऐसा मत करो.
Right, the early damage mostly done onto the rock.
Dropping spike.
100 Thieves better.
Site once again.
Let's see.
Paranoia
game खत्म नहीं हुआ bro.
C's also catching a player.
भाई उसका गेम है यार, वो पीछे आ गया है भाई, क्या कोई देख ही नहीं रहा.
Has cleared out 3. He might have just ended the map single-handedly unless Loiter has a play of equal value.
भाई खुद ही गेट खोल के खुद ही नहीं देख रहे हैं.
Up against the odds surrounded, and I think we all know how that story ends. 14-12. It was a bit labored, but 100 Thieves managed to steal their opponent's map pick away. in epic fashion.
Oh yeah, they had to fight tooth and nail for that one. An incredible display and an important victory. But I think if this series has taught us anything, or even if the last match that BBL played has taught us anything, is you might be able to steal their map pick, but that doesn't mean you have the series done. Even still though, it's a huge leg up for 100 Thieves as they'll head into a map that is ultimately quite heavily favored on paper towards them.
They might be in the building, but they still have to crack that vault, and
we
it's starting to look like they might have the combination with their map
team.
pick up next. Isn't that right, Digon?
Thank you very much, Locksmiths, as it was a fantastic round there. It goes all the way the distance, and Timotino getting the job done. The 4K to send them past overtime into the victory column on map number 100 Thieves, up 1-0 on BBL Esports. Digon here alongside our analyst desk, Kakuka, and Big Time. And man, what a game that was. It started off with a very streaky first half. It was 4 in a row, then 6 in a row, then 1 and 1. And then after that, it just felt like back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I think BBL showed real prowess on this map. You know, it's clearly something that they understand, and they showed just how sharp they can be. But ultimately, I was really impressed by what 100 Thieves were able to bring out here. I think the comp is a great answer to that BBL style. The way they can beat that Vice so effortlessly. It's well drilled and well rehearsed.
I think that this is one of the perfect examples of having a Viper and not having it, making this much of an impact. When we think about the defense, that first half for BBL, they were going on the extra aggression. Rose was having a game at the beginning of that map, and you thought, oh my God, they definitely got some learnings out of the EDG head-to-head. But once the things swapped around, once 100 Thieves understood how this Turkish squad wanted to play, things changed a lot. And as you're saying, understanding the map, walking around it, and having the amount of utility that they had to deal with so many things, in the end, we just encountered one BBL that was working as fine. Think about that last round. They're so scared that you cannot work around that Viper wall so much that Timotino's behind them, and he's
10 वाले राउंड के बाद उनको स्लो खेलना चाहिए था जो उन्होंने ए रश कर दिया ना, और ओवर टाइम के पहले राउंड में भी उन पे फुल इन्फो चाहिए, रे आ रहा है, फिर भी पता नहीं क्या हो गया। थ्रो हुआ है कहीं ना कहीं, उनका मैनेजर बताएगा, कोच बताएगा उनको कि ये गलती करी है तुमने। कौन सब खेलते हैं बोलना, बोल फिर तेरे को रिपोर्ट करूंगा। सब खेलते हैं सब। हाँ तू बताएगा अब उनको कैसे खेलना होता है। यप ऑफ कोर्स भाई, तुम क्या मैच देखते हो ना बाहर से, तो तुम्हारे पे इतना प्रेशर नहीं रहता, इतनी चीजें नहीं रहती, तुम्हें हर जगह से दिखता है कि क्या करना चाहिए, क्या होना चाहिए। उनको क्या सब दिखता नहीं है उधर, हमको सब दिखता है कि सामने वाला बंदा कहाँ है, क्या हो रहा है। अगर वो मेरी बात माने ना तो बात बन जाए। तू है कौन? को स्ट्रीमर ही कह दे लाडले, ऑफिशियल। आओ गाइस, जियो गेसर कौन कौन खेलेगा? स्टीम पे लगाना पड़ेगा क्या बट मुझे? वो तो फुल पे रहने देता हूँ मैं। ये वही है जो साइकिल पे ट्रिपलिंग करके बीड़ी पीने जा रहा था मेरे साथ। मेरे पास अभी भी फोटो पड़ी है 11th की 10th की, जबकि भी जाऊँ।
What happened to them in that EDG game. So I do think that they are still well in this. They know they can go toe-to-toe from an aim perspective, but ultimately now it's going to be moving across the split. It's going to get tougher.
The pistols were incredibly important because do not forget, this map started with an 0-4 deficit for the side of BBL.
मेरे पास फोन था, बट मेरा नहीं था।
And at the beginning, it really looked like BBL was not going to be able to play their game and be in that aggressive because maybe they wanted to put some respect on the table, right?
Yeah.
Do not forget, at the beginning of the year, when they went to Santiago, they only played against America's squad. So, of course, it was America's that ultimately sent them home. So they still have to test so many because, you know, it's not like all the teams are the same. And when they lost that respect and they thought like, oh, we're going to be aggressive, they started getting the numbers up. If 100 Thieves was not able to get those pistols just because of the momentum that so quickly BBL can have and keep snowballing on. Maybe it would have been a different result.
Yeah, I just think back to when they were pushing into the spawn of 100 Thieves when BBL were on defense. I was like, dang, that is when you know a team is firing on all cylinders. And it's like, you're not being too careful, and you're not trying to be disrespectful, but it just comes off that way, and we're going to win the round that way. The mental warfare, however, 100 Thieves able to stay resilient and close out that overtime. They're up 1-0 after one map. But
ये बताओ क्या है
coming
guys?
up next,
ये अपना
qualifier match here for Group A
गाम्बिया
here at EWC 2026. Don't go anywhere.
तेरा भाई तेरा भाई देख रहा है एक लौंडे को पता है ऐसे ही दिखा दिया गाम्बिया के नेबर्स बताओ आप ये साला ये उद्धव शर्मा लगता है कोई बैन खाना चाह रहा है सेनेगल सेनेगल अच्छा एक ही है तो पूरा एक ही है कैपिटल ऑफ गाम्बिया बताओ गाइस अपना एक लौंडा डिस्कॉर्ड पे बैठा है कि निकल गया भाई चीफू हेलो चीफू इज डेड गाइस आई थिंक
Play is
B
in
से
our DNA.
Sorry, I guess I was muted.
डाको डमा ना ना डरा डरा दिल्ली दिल्ली है क्या कैपिटल
पूरा दिन चलेगा बस
मैं बैन हुआ तो तेरा चैनल भी बैन करवाऊंगा दोहा डोना डगलस इसका कैपिटल बता चल गाम्बिया का कैपिटल I don't think these है बीच है बंजुल इट्स बंजुल गाइस हमारी चैट को क्या बहुत नॉलेज है और ये यहाँ होगा ये तो टोपे पे होगा पर टोपे पे नहीं है सेनेगल फ्रॉम गाम्बिया ढकार सेनेगल अब ढकार सेनेगल में कहाँ पे है क्योंकि चारों तरफ तो सेनेगल ही है कैपिटल न्यू दिल्ली भाई गाम्बिया में रहता है क्या तू ढकार आई गेस इधर होगा इधर नहीं है गाइस चौदह गेम भी है थोड़ा सा फ्लैग ऑफ गाम्बिया बताओ चैट्स ले फेरी पकड़ के गया था कैपिटल न्यू दिल्ली ऑलवेज हर जगह की कैपिटल गाम्बिया का फ्लैग ये बताया चैट में लेट्स गो ट्रू अबाउट गाम्बिया इसको क्यों सुन रहे हैं अपन इसको 1 मिनट बंद रखो टॉप 20 नंबर वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट मेंबर ऑफ कॉन्वेंट राइन्स ऑफ द लेजर पार्टी ऑफ द एंटार्क्टिक ट्रीटी की तो सभी पार्टी नहीं है क्या इंडिया के फ्लैग में अशोक चक्र में कितने डंडियां होती है बताना जरा 24 बेटे सब पता तेरे भाई को बाप से बकचोदी नहीं आई गेस ड्राइव्स ऑन द लेफ्ट है गाम्बिया कॉमनवेल्थ में पॉपुलर विंटर डेस्टिनेशन फॉर यूरोपियन दे डू गेम फॉर स्पेशलाइज्ड चिल्ड्रन ऑन द रिवर वाइन टेस्टिंग वॉल्केनो हाइकिंग बर्ड वाचिंग स्कीइंग बर्ड वाचिंग होगा गाम्बिया में और तो क्या होगा उससे ज्यादा तो कुछ नहीं होगा वहाँ पे अफ्रीका है Gambia entered a short-lived political union with Senegal known as Senegal Gambia Gambengal Senegambia. कॉमनवेल्थ में तो ड्राइव लेफ्ट में क्यों नहीं कर रहे भाई ड्राइव भी लेफ्ट में कर रहे हैं और दो आंसर सही है तो सेनेगाम्बिया Can you guess which landmark is in the Gambia? Oh, I think ये हो सकता है ये या ये सेकंड और फोर्थ सेकंड इज द आंसर और ये है क्या अपना न्यूंगे पार्क कुंता किंतन आइलैंड सेक्स कोस्ट ऑफ गाम्बिया का ये इसका एक तरीका है गाइस ऐसे करने का, और इसमें कई बार पढ़ने का कि कहीं लिखा हुआ है कि गाम्बिया का है ये, ठीक है। अब अपन को नहीं पता लगा, ठीक है। अब है अफ्रीका में गाम्बिया, ठीक है। तो अपन जाएंगे थोड़ा अफ्रीकन देखने, जिसमें थोड़े बहुत जानवर वानवर हो, और हर में जानवर है, ठीक है। ये अमीर वाला है, ये नहीं होगा, ये होता है यूरोप का ज्यादातर, कुछ स्विट्जरलैंड टाइप्स। तिमोर लेस्टे है ये, सेंट्रल अमेरिका, एल सल्वाडोर। आई थिंक ये ये नहीं है, ये होगा। यप। गाम्बिया में बोल क्या रहे लोग? वाह, व्हाट अ गुड क्वेश्चन। सांगला कौन से पुलार, मंडिन का बोल रहे हैं एक तो, ठीक है। और एक क्या बोल रहा है? मैच कब चालू होगा पता लगे अपन को कि है ना टाइम। पुलार बोल रहे हैं, लेट्स गो। अब उनको लैंग्वेज ज्यादा आती नहीं है गाइस, बट ये और ये इज द की टू सक्सेस। ओह, पुलार ये थी ना, तो मुंह लेती ना, तो मुंह लेती। गाम्बिया की, गाम्बिया की एक से कम है क्या? गाम्बिया में लोग मिलियन पार, एनी डे मिलियन पार है। करेंसी ऑफ गाम्बिया पूला, पूला नहीं है। साला पुलार बोल कैसे रहे हैं अगर पूला करेंसी नहीं है तो चीटिंग कर रही है हमारे साथ। अपनी थी कैपिटल ये सबसे ऊपर, ये फिर ये फिर ये फिर ये। अब इसकी एक ट्रिक है गाइस, ये और ये ओनली एक सही। साला कैपिटल में ही लोग नहीं रह रहे, तो फिर फायदा क्या, उसको कैपिटल रखा क्यों है? मेरे मैसेज नहीं देख रहे क्या तेरे को ऊपर वाले? देख तो लिए इंडिया के, उसमें कितने होंगे बता तो दिए, चॉइस पीछे जाके स्ट्रीम पे देख भैया। और कौन सा दिखा दिया तूने? और कोई मैसेज नहीं दिख रहे ना? कुछ गाली वाली लिखी होगी तो ऑलरेडी निकल गया होगा लेफ्ट राइट से। गाम्बिया वर्दा है कि काबो वर्दे, बट वो है भाई, बताओ। अभी लगभग अर्जेंटीना को हरा ही दिया था काबो वर्दे ने। काबो वर्दे की बहुत टेरिटरीज है, तभी फैला हुआ नहीं है गाम्बिया का लंबा। ये ऑटो हटा, वाइट ही ऑटो हटा दिस, और ये गंदी बात लिखा था। यप, मुझे क्या है, क्लीन आता है सिस्टम। एक और गेम दिखाता हूँ गाइस तुम्हें, कंट्रियल। इधर लिखेंगे अपन इंडिया पहले, ठीक है। चलिए वहाँ सर गेम पे जाऊंगा घूमने परसों, टिकट करवा दे हमारी, ठीक है। टेंशन नहीं, ठीक है। नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फेयर में है, एशिया में नहीं है, ये नहीं है, ऊपर है, ठीक है। ये है अपना जर्मनी, एक लौंडा है, वहां जाएंगे। जर्मनी नहीं है, जर्मनी के राइट में नीचे, थोड़ा और नीचे आएंगे, ग्रीस। ग्रीस इधर नहीं है, राइट में ऊपर। क्या है फिर ये? पॉपुलेशन और कम है। क्रोएशिया वोएशिया लेके बैठा है क्या? ट्रेन की टिकट करवाना प्लेन में मेरे को डर लगता है। वो तो टेंशन मत ले, तेरे लिए प्लेन की टिकट करवाऊंगा, और उस प्लेन के पायलट को अलग पैसे दूंगा कि तेरे को साले को फेंक दे वहीं से। समझा कि नहीं? कुछ बताओ यार, वहां से ऊपर क्या है? किसी को पता है तो जल्दी जल्दी बता दो मुझे। जाएंगे दुनिया से। बल्गेरिया की पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा होगी यार, बट अरे बल्गेरिया इज द की टू सक्सेस गाइस। देख रहे 39% डिस्कवर कर ली मैंने।
For battle stage,
मैच
so
चालू
he's
हो गया
probably going to be
गाइस।
quite happy that that agent has come back into fashion. But I actually just think that what's most interesting going into this map is that it feels like, at least in their recent form, both teams are starting out on their stronger side.
एक दूसरे के
BBL
लिए बने।
have, I'll be honest, absolutely
कांड
stunk
पे
on
रैप्टा
the
मारा ना।
attack. They have had games
तो
where they're able
सड़क
to
पे क्या
get
करता हूँ मिलेगा तू?
7-8 rounds on the defense and then manage just 2. In fact, the last 3 performances, 1 round
ये
on the
बता ये
attack, 2
मैप कौन
rounds on the
जीत रहा है?
attack, 2 rounds on the attack. So for BBL, this first half feels like everything. But then you go back to some of the matches in the qualifier for 100 Thieves, 9-3 attack side versus Loud. So they have an opportunity to maybe even end this map in the first half. And for BBL, it feels like this first half is integral.
100 Thieves वापस डिफेंस में BBC It's BBL brother. Uncast है वो 40 HP बचा है। गोली भी पड़ी है क्या उसको? और अब सारे आ गए।
Shown, and they've dragged 4 players to that side of the map. Lloyd is the only one towards A, and now he's on 13 HP. The damage trades early favor 100 Thieves, and they have got 2 of the latest flanks I've ever seen. I will say that if BBL up the pace here,
5v5 retake guys.
themselves in a very good spot.
क्या ये BBL कर सकती है? 2 बंदे half HP से कम
from the Sage wall is buying so much time for Timotino if he's even needed.
Putting this into seemingly a closed out round, and leaves just Loiter on 13 HP to face versus 4, and you guessed it, he's not going to be able to. It's another pistol round under the belt of 100 Thieves, and as said, if they have a stellar first half here, I do not believe in the bounce back in the second for BBL.
This is really nice work, and I think we're going to see a lot of this as the game goes on, where Kraven is going to have to be a super slow rotation, an anchor that stays even in moments where it's clear that they're going the other way. Because 100 Thieves have that Sage, and with less utility there than what we're normally going to see. So when push comes to shove for that defensive side, they want to break back out. There's the wall, there's the slows, there's the utility from the rest of the squad, and we're going to see players like Timotino, probably players like Cryo especially, with a super late roll around mid and around that B site. Now, for this round, Cryo only has a pistol, of course, but everybody else has invested. They've now lost 1 Spectre, I believe, unless there was a Stinger I missed. And anything from here on out in BBL's camp will be damage worth doing.
On their part, they are able to heal up
इंतजार कर रहे हैं भाई उनके पुश का, और वो देने वाले हैं।
And the Sage, and well, with the last player being spotted, it's all too easy in the end. It
will काफी clean निकल गया है ये round.
It will be 4 players standing.
I
now want to see what they're going to do with these Spectres. Are they expecting some lower shields on the board?
CS match भी करूँगा,
seeing the amount of Spectres that were on the other side, that's probably not going to be the case.
CS में सिखाऊंगा तेरे को कैसे खेला जाता है।
But
BBL,
as I said, I want this to be an immediate breakback. I think that this is a map where the attack side really has been a mass struggle for them. And don't get me wrong, sure, they have the individuals that maybe on the day, if they show up, they'll be able to do a lot of damage. But I think versus this composition, it actually looks even worse for them going into that second half. So I'm looking at maybe even 8+ rounds on this defense.
उनको clear लेना पड़ेगा भाई अब।
2-0 already. I mean, this is a poor start by that metric, but this is really where you have to see BBL take the go. They're up against mostly SMGs. There's a bandit in play. They've already closed it.
अरे क्या flash है?
That paranoia was perfect, and Timotino, he did this on the waylay, Seaside Lotus.
पिछला मैच भी इन्होंने 0-4 ही चालू किया था, ये भी 0-4 ही चालू कर रहा है.
The same face being worn into this beginning of
अब ये 2 kill और लेगा अभी.
A third under his belt already. We are taking strides towards the showstopper being online.
Already.
And now we are taking steps away from this site on the defense. A save has to be called. This was a devastating blow from 100 Thieves.
But yeah, they only had a singular rifle.
तुझे वो तो उसकी लुगाई से बात करनी पड़ेगी.
On his own.
Off rip. And he's able to get a double entry. As you said, it was what he was able to do on the waylay, but it is more damning on this map. What is looking like a potential flawless third round, a flawless bonus And I almost then questioned, do BBL now take the pause around earlier? Because I bumped into MBS backstage. He goes, first 4 rounds of the last map, they weren't shooting. They take a pause, demons. Well, they need the demons now. They need the demons earlier.
They weren't shooting, but look at the fights that they had. The first chance they got to shoot was like 5v3 because of the exec from this man, from Timatino, going into sites, having paranoia, just like having the flash from the sky as well, covering all of the space. And so, yeah, how are you supposed to shoot when you can't see the guy? And he's moving pretty damn quickly as well. So for 100 Thieves, like the start of the rounds, when BBL sit back, it's so easy for them. The executes are destroying BBL's defense, so they have to step forward. They have to play their game. We saw it on Lotus and it worked. Now, they're going to try it. 3-man push around mid, 2 rifles gone down the bottom. The only 2 that they have. They're watching either side. Some space. And this is kind of what we talked about earlier, and it's much more relevant on this map, the tempered aggression. If you were to just go, well, we haven't seen the mid, let's keep going mid.
Rishabh, tera idol kaun hai? Mera idol.
You're losing that round, especially when
there's no contact. It's a different map. 3-5
that kind of shenanigans, and this dog is going to get a lot of info if it was put through.
Kis cheez mein bhai?
Instead, it's the flash.
Flash hai.
After that spam, and
ek HP bacha hai wo.
To get out with his life.
Marega bhai Rose. Diya bhai Kraven.
They're always going to be dangerous.
एक रोज भी लेके जाएगा, एक रोज भी डिगल देगा.
Not a bad way to start. Do they expect the second player? No, they don't.
उठा
from Rose, weapon retrieved. Second one not going to be available.
ये भी डाल दे चाहिए.
They won't mind too much. It leaves them on
पकड़ लेंगे.
He just about makes it around the corner. And actually, that's
Neon भाई.
Now 2 players dinked up.
Lovers rock रुक
Of course, on their side, no ability for heals to come through. They are going to play this round wounded.
Comes the dog. No one's going to be able to follow.
अब चल रहा है फिर तो बीडीबी ने.
Have made sure of that. Still the wall in play, but 100 Thieves have managed to slip through into heaven. And Kraven gets another.
Kraven ने एक और ले लिया. Let's go. Let's go. Easy win है BBL.
Spike down on the site instead.
Insane round भाई.
There is no way for Vora to win this unless they literally throw it the round into his hands.
Insane round.
BBL with their first, and it comes off the back of an unsuspecting round, let's say.
कल क्या तारीख है? कल 5 है. कल परसों तो ओके एक सेकंड.
They do this so often with low buys, with pistols.
कल तो मुश्किल है.
कल
नहीं होगा ना.
Yeah, there he is, and he definitely had a quieter first map than
शाम को चलेगा तो पता.
Of course, they have so much talent on their roster.
शाम को भी
somebody has to be towards the bottom end of the board, but we had moments from LaRock. I think Rose had a pretty decent game.
I think it's Tuesday. Tuesday को अपन जा सकते हैं.
But of course, with 100 Thieves keeping those first few rounds incredibly clean, they had
to round nikala hai.
This round and
eco round nikala. I like it.
And maybe even the one after that, depending on plants and depending if they
0-4 nahi hua.
So no respite for the side of BBL. It's looking like a little bit more direct. Now they got caught by the crossfire.
VDN तो फिर कभी आज शाम को चल ले. कल तो नहीं आज शाम को आज चलना है.
Now Sage Wall's going to be broken, and with the Vice one standing in their way, 100 Thieves are slowed. That change of positioning from the utility has found them success here.
I don't smoke
but now
video.
100 Thieves realize, well, there's no wall down below, I guess. Let's run through. First Thorns activated. HP paid for Timatino, but it's a trade. He's
एक second पहले peek ले लिया Rose.
On the site now, we've got Kraven. He's a teammate close by in Lover's Rock, but he has to stand on his own 2 feet and stands tall. Kraven. Cryo, the last man standing, and he's dealt with by the wraparound. Big one for BBL.
Yeah, solid hold, but also even just the information they had. While there was that pressure in, I think it was while the Sage Wall and the Vice Wall were up at the same time, 2 players push mid on BBL and make it through the sewers behind. So it made it so that you see the last kill coming in from LaRock. He's actually wrapping through at this moment. They know they can't go back, so they can gamble the rest of the players over to that side of the map. Quick rotation from Lover's Rock, but it still took Kraven having a big round. Still on the board. As said though, it's not done damage just yet to the economy of 100 Thieves. They were so clean in those first 3 rounds. Showstopper available for Timatino, and he's been getting entries without it.
महंगी हो गई थी ये सब चीजें तो.
To be honest, I almost don't want to see him use it for the entry because he's been so clean. Every time it's 1 at a minimum, and even 1 feels disappointing. They'll close the distance on mid. And this is it. This is going to be showstopper straight up and in. Flash catches him, delays a bit, buys some time for them to flee, but stuck down below still is LaRock. He is in danger. Showstopper about to run out. Target, but he doesn't fire it, and then Rose walks through. A man who could have been dead to rights. A gamble not taken.
Loita ki game hai, Loita.
You can't win if you don't play for 100
Nice.
thieves. A man down, it looks like another under pressure. They are swinging into Bang, and they will take him down. 5v3 now. Okay, not a bad pick. The res is online.
There's going to be a reaction to try and deny it. It is Shake. How is Rose not dead? Finally, he goes down. And then Lovers Rocks on the other side. With the res utilized, they still sit a man down. But they look to run back in the other direction.
CT आवाज आ रही है
by
उसको.
Kraven, though.
आ गई आज खोल दी.
Weaponry away as they go towards this side of the map. Snakebite not going to connect, and he's now
चलो
waiting for the drop down. He knows these players don't have weapons. Instead, they go at him with a shorty, and he'll just about get the remaining double. A solid round from BBL. They survive versus a res. Sure, they use an ult or two of their own, but I don't think they're going to care.
Well, frankly, Rose, he has some sort of protection from the Divine.
Plot armor.
There was a showstopper staring at the wall right beside him, and they just decided not to click. Then he walks up, kills that player. Then the next fight, he sprayed his entire magazine, took out a shorty while Timotino stared him in the face, and managed to kill him and get away with damage done to Asuna when he fell. A very good round from Rose, very good round from BBL as well, seeing Kraven have this kind of an uptick. I mentioned it in the agent select a little bit when we were coming into the map. Like, I like Kraven. I like what he can do on this map. But so far at this event, he hasn't been hitting the way that he has regionally. So that's where kind of my eye goes elsewhere. And I look more towards 100 Thieves and the success that they've had. But he stepped up. The Sheriff was ringing out, singing true. Here he finds
Where is my boy Chifu?
A much-needed round. BBL,
I can't see Chifu.
All hope is not lost, evidently.
Yeah, it's a pause taken this time by 100 Thieves. I think a bit of a messier round in tow. Bear in mind that we see in the early stages of the round, it's like, oh yeah, he gets caught by a flash. Don't think Kraven was there. So I don't think anybody else could have done it.
I can tell you it was a Sky Flash.
Yes.
And
they don't have a
BBL
Sky.
Didn't buy a Sky Flash that round.
No, that's true. I think we would be reporting them if they had.
Exactly.
One of the few disjointed rounds we've seen throughout this game. I've loved the executions. And here's another one. Of course, it's Timotino in first. Trade out of ultimates is going to put them in. And it's three! The setup for the Rock, but he did most of the work himself. The Nightfall forced them back, and well, it was night in the end. 3 players gone in one foul swoop. Locked in. Now they can go down the vents. That's the one position on the map that's actually open, but the second they do, if they make any level of sound, there'll be a switch up of position from Lovers Rock. The spot out onto Kraven is a nice one. They dealt with one of the danger men. And actually, wherever they go, they should have an isolated fight.
I love BBL. I also like BBL. They
looked like they wanted to push towards Loida. Indeed they will in the end, but it won't matter. Loida grabs them both. The spam and the smoke was a good start and a great finish. Now the lead is there for BBL. As you said, last map, it was 4-0 when they decided to start shooting. Decided to start playing the game. Now they've gotten online a little bit earlier. It's good signs, but it's what we needed to see. Again, you set the expectation, Tom, that for this squad, we really want to see about 8 rounds on that defense. And 100 Thieves, as a result, they're not that far away from finding a successful half of their own, pushing up to 5.
To put it into perspective, when they played against Eternal Fire regionally, I think they got 8 rounds on the defense and lost 13-10. So that's the sort of level I'm giving you. Like, maybe they have been able to take the time. They've had a lot of time to get ready for this event, and they fixed that attack side. But if we're going off what has happened regionally,
push कर गया बट वो वेंट्स ले लिया उन्होंने ले लो भाई मेन ले लो अकेला
It was fired at him, and yet he's decided to push into vents, to continue pressing forward, to search for that player.
No way that came from stop spamming emojis warning. Nightbot ने दिया साले को.
Split coming through now. In fact, the side strike from Timotino almost sealed the round, but Cryo's left alone with that fight up top, and
छोड़ के नहीं जाना.
BBL handle what could have been a very dangerous situation towards A nicely. Even a couple picks would have been huge. Would have left B lighter defended, allowed this split to look a whole lot stronger.
Easy भाई देखिए BM करता है भाई ये dead body shoot कर रहा है.
It really does feel like go from round 3 to this round and you flip the coin and got the two polar opposites. A squeaky clean round.
Main क्या clear करा उन्होंने.
In the bonus that came out from 100 Thieves, and now incredibly clean defensive side rounds coming out for BBL, building up that economy, making sure that if they want an operator going forward, they can definitely afford it, making sure that there will be no weaknesses in terms of shields, in terms of investment into rifles. And it's going to take some time for 100 Thieves to break that down. And with plays like this, what can you even do? That's 5 seconds into the round and you've lost 2 players.
They even put the slow in to stop that exact play from happening. So he blast packs up top on the box.
पक्का ही डिफेंस में है कि अटैक में.
If anything, that slow tells you they know you're doing this, or they're waiting for this kind of play. And do you think he gave a damn? In for 2, out for 2, and BBL in a 5v3, sitting pretty. No need to overextend anymore. And like this is where they do just sit back, let them execute in. But if 100 Thieves get on site, they have got a Viper's Pit to work with.
Mid पे ऑप लगा के बैठा लौंडा इजी किल है.
Pit might not be there for long. Okay, Cryo's won that fight. Looked like he was dead to rights. Regress back towards Larok though. Seems like a risky game.
रुकता भाई, ये जाता ही जा रहा है, ये अकेला ही चला जाएगा.
13 and 5
किसी की जरूरत ही नहीं है. Undriven भी आ गया.
Seems to go his way and he's repositioned back towards where they're moving once again. 2 more kills for the ace, but again Cryo's managed to shut him down. The one player to do damage for 100 Thieves in this round, but can they convert that into a victory?
26 seconds left. और 2 बंदे भी हैं. I think it's our round.
Shots hit. It's 15. They've wrapped back around to B main. There is a decent chance that Lloyd will swing this wide to look for information without even going for the jump peek, and they might be able to catch him. But now they seem to have the information. Crossover. Asuna at least able to
यार easy kill था, उसने मार अच्छा दिया क्रायो ने.
Rose walking out, knows the time's on his side. Even if he fell,
मैंने टोक नहीं लगाई.
the round would be theirs. He knew it. And so the lead extends for BBL.
उसका बनता था, वो क्या वो हो गया.
Considering what Larok's
क्या मारा है भाई उसने पहले बंदे को तो. थोड़ा फोकस चला गया उसका. बहुत देर से लगा के बैठा था ना वो. तो वैसा हो गया भाई आएगा.
But there's more than one way. A lot of the time you see a slow and a flash, or a slow and a smoke, or a flash and a smoke. If he would be likely in front of the flash because of how far forward he is up on the box. So no matter what they've thrown at him there, he gets a 1v1 fight. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to do that again because they'll be pre-firing him. And in fact, he won't be able to do it again because they've decided, you know what, I'm not about that life. I'm going to the other side.
Nice.
On the other side of the map, you've only got Lover's Rock to worry about. You've only got all that utility from Creven. Already, they're going to lose a man. The one who's broken open every site they've made it towards, robbing rations from the enemy's backlines, even on those low buy rounds.
Okay.
Now another hero needed. Numbers are their advantage.
Nice shot. सब यही है, ऐसे खुले मत जाओ यार. अरे भाई हाथ में गन रखो.
5v3. They're all stuck in heaven. That was a bold maneuver.
4v3.
That's also a bold maneuver. They're pushing one by one. Oh, Creven, don't break my heart. Oh, God. It was a 5v3 moments ago. And 100 Thieves did nothing to pull this back into their favor except sit and wait for their opponents to make mistakes. Loida, give up. Run for the hills. They've rezzed. It's a man advantage times 2 for 100 Thieves. And Lover's Rock's got to be the one to bring this back into their favor. He's given them a chance. But with the pin in play,
अरे वो पहला शॉट लग जाता तो वो हो जाता है. कौन सा बेटर है, CS या Velo? दोनों का अपना अपना अलग अलग वो है भाई. Specialties types हैं. क्या है क्या नहीं. अगर सिर्फ तुम mechanically देखना.
And that's the pit down. Now he has an even
fight
versus Asuna.
Around
that looked like it was thrown away, but they might just still be able to take it, waiting on the other side. And bring it home anyway. It doesn't matter.
Insane clutch भाई. Viper pit में जाके clutch.
BBL have players with such depth of talent that they can take it anyway.
देख दोनों का अलग अलग है भाई तो CS है मैकेनिकली तुम अगर सिर्फ सीधा देखना चाहते हो कि तुम्हें बहुत ज्यादा भसड़ नहीं चाहिए तो जाओ और वो खेलो CS में बट मैकेनिक थोड़ा हार्ड है बट अच्छा भी है और इस वाले में मैकेनिक इजी है मैकेनिकल थोड़ी स्किल तुम्हारी डेवलप करना तो लगभग सारे बंदे अच्छा खेलते हैं तो ये वैसे मुश्किल है कॉम्पिटिटिवली मजे आने का तो सबका अलग अलग है कि किसमें किसको मजा आएगा जिसको गन चलाने में मजा आता है सिर्फ उसको उसमें मजा आएगा CS में जिनको ये थोड़े प्ले बनाने एक्स्ट्रा चीजें करनी है उनको वेलो में मजा आएगा
Yeah, a little bit annoying.
मेरे को कौन सा पसंद है मेरे को CS ज्यादा पसंद है बट CS में खेल नहीं पाता नेट की वजह से और ऑफ कोर्स हैकर्स की वजह से तो सबको पता है CS में सिस्टम है
Majority that was just to clear out the utility, and now it's worked wonderfully as a bait. The showstopper gets burned up by LaRock.
तो जगह भी तो मिल गई भाई उनको और जगह वो जरूरी थी मिड की
hold on, look at the position of Vora.
ये जा रहा
way up through the vents, and Rose just walked back from main to cover it. In the nick of time, he's realized where the snake in the grass was, and they've got one of their own. Loita's walked up. He's in vents. He is behind them in the sewers. They're in vents walking out, and he spotted it. This is going to be the quickest flank that they could dream of. And we might have seen Rifts today, but this man's not one to let these opportunities slip. 2 under his belt. They might get a
क्या लर्किंग बाजी कर रहे हैं भाई BBL वाले
with 20 seconds on the clock, 3 players on B in a 2v4.
CS में खेलता हूँ बट मैं दिखाऊंगा स्ट्रीम पे खेल के कि कैसा वो आता है प्रॉब्लम क्या आती है CS में वो दिखाऊंगा लारोक तो बस मार रहा है उसको मतलब नहीं है वो तो टप्पे टप्पे दे रहा है
that they would be able to get to 8 rounds. Maybe 8 was the best because I didn't expect them to win round 4 with pistols. But ever since that moment,
तेरी आईडी की तू रैंक देखेगा ना तेरी गांड फट जाएगी जो मैंने रख रखी है CS में.
We've seen Loiter popping off. We've seen that space taken, similarly to what we got on Lotus, where they are just disrespecting the amount of map control that their opponents can hold. And for 100 Thieves, they at least want to get one towards the end of the half. Nobody wants to win, lose 9 rounds in a row.
Oh, showstopper Timotino! He had the wall to help him close the distance quicker, but Lover's Rock closes out the kills. 2 under his belt.
ऊपर ही कहते हैं भाई Lover's Rock को insane भाई domination. Flawless का हमने डैमेज भी 30 वाली दिया टोटल बच्चे के सामने खेल कर खुश हो जाता होगा ना तो
I think I'd be scratching my head
बच्चे के सामने
it's crazy that you go they are one of the few teams
bronze
that
player
I can watch that they go into a map that's their map choice, lose it close in OT, and I don't have to sit there and go, do you think they're going to be mentally boomed? Like they've gone 3-0 down after losing their own map choice, and then they've gone, right, should we just win 9 rounds in a row? Like all it takes, it seems, is a small spark.
भाई 9 राउंड लगातार जीत गए भाई BBL एक राउंड में जीते हैं
aggressive, pushing angles that they shouldn't. And on this map, a map that has been so good for 100 Thieves over the last few months, they're getting boomed by a team that ultimately has taken way more map control than they should ever be able to get.
अगर ऐसे घुसते रहते तो काम हो जाता
So first of all, Timotino
ये रुक गया हल्का सा
on the last map, the C-side takes from him. Timotino was taking back sight. He was diving in scot-free 9 times out of 10 with huge amounts of success. But the other takeaway was LaRock on that first map. Some of the shots he was hitting, you saw the confidence build round on round. You saw him start to connect. It genuinely looked like he got new mouse drivers or something. I don't know how he was able to snap so quickly. And when you see him having a day like that, you know that's not going to disappear map to map. That's going to be a problem you have to deal with. And 100 Thieves, they just can't match what he's putting down right now. As well as I will say, some moments like that from Rose where like they get hella lucky. Kraven's left on 3 HP. That would have been a 2v2 with a rifle recovered. And instead, they narrowly miss out. That first burst of the shorty decided the round. For 100 Thieves, any one of those moments going their way, and this is a much tighter scoreline. This is a much more difficult second half for BBL, but now 9-3, it kind of feels like a formality, especially if BBL take the pistol.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that a pistol round for 100 Thieves, in a normal case, I wouldn't be too worried that they could still do this on the defensive side. I think they've proven that this is an incredibly strong map for them. But it's just that momentum. Like, that's the thing that is always most terrifying with BBL, with Turkish rosters in general. When you've got LaRock, Lovers Rock, and hey, let's just say at this point, every single member of their team having highlight moments time and time again, I'm now looking at you to find that same sort of resilience. Find that same breakback that they have shown. Well, a pistol round, a chance to bring it back to 9-5. And as said, like,
no chance,
from what we've seen over the last 3 times BBL played this map, they have managed maximum 2 attack side rounds. So a pistol round would genuinely get them halfway there.
And the walkout from Rose. He's being spotted. Those spams coming very close. He's 35 HP as he fades away from middle, making it out. But Lover's Rock is not so lucky. 1 man down already. Lots of damage done. And yes, that's the same
BBL
for
pistol
Vora,
nahi nikal pa raha.
The Sage close by. And he'll come online later. In fact, no, it won't. Vora's being put to bed. Timatino also falling. The nade. They have to be desperately careful with Bang.
Pistol nahi nikal pa rahe hain. Fir next round nahi nikal pa rahe hain. अभी खेलना क्या ये
They just wait. Like the answer
ये
might just
जरूरी
be
है
to wait.
समझता नहीं है तो बात
How far he's got. Yeah, they're going to go all the way back around the spawn. The only thing will be if Rose overplays his hand, but I think he's playing it perfectly. Into that spawn position.
भी जा रहे हैं और spawn पे एक लौंडा बैठा हुआ है उनका मेरा रोटेशन किया एक यहाँ बैठा और ये मरने वाला है क्या ये चेक करेगा भाई पर
And maybe it turns, but no, why would he? And Rose isn't just going to go for one. He's making sure there's nobody else. The remaining players towards the heavens, though, make things interesting. A nice shot that drops the spike.
Has to go back
and get that, and if he could deny it, maybe that'll be enough to win the round instead. Does he know the second player is there? He does, and while falling gets the kill.
Low है वो low है Larok का game
है. On to Bang, but it's LaRock again. This man does not want to lose today.
Oh, yeah, look, when it comes to that late round scrapping, I don't think there's a chance that LaRock's dropping the ball. You have got to be quick on the trigger, or he is taking you out. And it was, I think he was 1 hit to the Sheriff on the rounding of the corner as well. A lot of damage done in that initial fight. And for BBL, that round win, it's fairly damning. 100 Thieves should have next to no chance of coming back into this one. Like, winning the pistol, it's a long road ahead of you. But now double digits for BBL, a team that thrives off of momentum, and they've now won 10 rounds in a row. This is going to be one hell of a task, even just to slow these youngsters down.
उनका stack है यहाँ पे 4 बंदे हैं.
It's there to build momentum. They've got the players on the right side of the map,
but Lovers Rock को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इतनी दूर से ना स्कोप मत दे एक स्कोप लगा ले.
Being utilized.
Time for LaRock, 1 away from Showstopper.
Gonna get it one way or another, it seems, and it's gonna plant towards the end of the round. Squeaky clean, only 1 player lost. The Marshal immediately retrieved, and as I said, it's a good map for 100 Thieves, but unless they've got one hell of a streak, this one is looking like we're going to a third.
And again, you saw at the end, as you said, Tom, that late round plank coming through. So we're 1 away from a showstopper coming into the next round. Now that is going to be devastating considering how on the ball LaRock has already been.
भाई 4 बंदे थे but फिर भी कुछ कर नहीं पाया. हर जगह util किया, कुछ जगह छोड़ी नहीं.
Last half was pretty impactful, you could say. I imagine it's something 100 Thieves will be fearful of. Yeah, and often you talk about it as sort of the ability to bridge the gap of the lighter buy. BBL don't have a lighter buy. There's 1 stinger, and other than that, everyone's got everything that they need.
Missed shot to start with. That's not what you want to be seeing. And of course, a man who literally isn't missing right now is LaRock. He might have just ended the round already. They're being pushed, but they brought it back at least a little bit. Heal will be there for Bang. And honestly, although this is a plant and a man down at this scoreline, you got to go for it.
There is no saving, yeah. Maybe we can win 9 in a row.
पीछे और आ गया
going to work for LaRock. He's securing the round. He's making sure even if they do cancel this retake, there will be no opportunity to carry those weapons through to the next round. And the time surely already too far gone. Certainly with two players having access to heaven, with the plant being that open, smoke goes down. It's going to be an attempt to just stick it. No, they need to stick it. Surely there. Finally, the stick's coming through, but it should be too little too late. The time already too far gone for Asuna. They let go of it.
Had to.
Indeed. Forced into it, and now BBL in with an opportunity to close this out in extremely dominant fashion.
Yeah, well, it turns out if you get a lot of rounds in the first half, you then win the pistol in second round, and then you win the bonus. By the way, in the last 3 times they played, this will be the most attack rounds they've actually managed to achieve, and they've only played 3 of them. So, yeah, I think a squad that has hit their stride at the perfect moment, 100 Thieves on their own map choice, have gone completely missing. But you know what, Mitch? A fantastic time to take a pause.
You always say that.
9 rounds down.
You always say that. You know, let the opponent hit 12, look, call your pause.
I learned my lesson.
Love it.
All gamers have proved to me that even if you're facing against Map Point, you need to win, 7 rounds in a row. Sometimes you take a pause and you win 6. Or maybe in this time, they'll take a pause and they'll win 9. The music got me a little bit excited.
I can see that. You started to believe in your own BS. I love that. Yeah. I love when that happens.
I don't think so.
Stun from Lovers Rock that really got them into that site. The relay bolt that hit Vora was completely caught by it. And the beautiful thing is, Lovers Rock doesn't even care. He ran past him and said, Rock, didn't you need an orb, bro? Grab it. Showstopper activated, up into heaven. Like, it looked so clean. That looked like SEAL Team 6 action from BBL. And this is a team that has looked very disjointed at times because they play aggressive. They love to play aggressive. And like we said, sometimes that's their downfall. But in this situation, not so much. 12-3, a 9-round gap to recover for 100 Thieves. And we said in the last one they stole the map. This would be highway robbery if they were to get anywhere close.
Rock gets 1 kill.
और उसको मिला, उसको टैग दिया.
Before Lovers Rock, he has double the kills of the second highest player in the server. That's all you really need to know about how this game is going.
I think this round is done.
That LaRock
already done.
Different gear to everybody else. There was a reason why, even when they were the Ascension champions, that teams came looking to see if they could steal this youngster away. He has the potential to be one of the best players in the world. And right now, you are witnessing exactly that. Even still, though, Bro's going walkabouts will be lost. I think for 100 Thieves, even just not losing 13 rounds in a row would probably help out the mental a little bit. They've taken that pause. They've got some inspiring, or I hope inspiring words.
I don't think they get the music, Tom. So,
you know,
it'll have to be, the speech will have to be a little bit better without that backing track. Nade forcing him into the open. Asuna's dead. Vora ain't gonna last long either. It's LaRock again. I said it, bro. I feel like we need to check his drivers. Something's been installed. He is playing in a way I've not seen in a long time. Word.exe's got the whole PowerPoint loaded in. And for 100 Thieves, look, okay.
Word.exe check karo bhai LaRock ke
holding the cross. Will he deal with LaRock? Of course he won't! This guy is on a tear all day long. We saw it 5 rounds into the last match. He was hitting shots that we don't see all too often. And a good game turns to a great one.
LaRock 1v1.
I thought the game was over, and of course it is!
Of course, LaRock.
13-3.
13 rounds in a row जीत गए भाई वो.
BBL battled and brawled.
एक round नहीं दिया उनका. 3 round के
was a straight execution.
Well, yeah, you have to wonder now, would this have been a 13-0 if they won the pistol round? That is 13 rounds in a row for BBL. A squad that, again, lost their own map choice in OT for the second time. Come into the second map as if absolutely nothing happened. By the way, that was picked by 100 Thieves. You lost 13 rounds in a row on your own map choice. I don't know what I've just witnessed. And LaRock is making statement plays after statement plays. Maybe the best player in the tournament right now. We'll have to see, because there is going to be a third map. Honestly, I think the break is going to be taken by 100 Thieves just to try and completely reset, because that was just bullying.
Absolutely. And one man that I love to bully is Degon. Take it away, baby.
Insane, guys.
Any attention from you, Mitch, is always great. Great call so far in the 1-to-1 as BBL come storming back in emphatic fashion, there is not a single doubt that they belong, and whoever wins this qualifier match into the playoffs is a force to be reckoned with. Welcome back here, Digon, alongside Bea, and of course, big time. I'm sorry, I went with Bea instead of.
You can call me Bea. It is indeed my name, Daniel.
Oh, that's true. That's also my name, and that's Morgan.
This is Morgan.
Keep it professional,
you might
guys.
know him as Tyler as well.
He also could be Tyler.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, true.
BBL came and did not care whose name was on the other side. LaRock popped off here.
I mean, they got LaRocked. It's that simple. Yep. That was an insane performance from him. Absolutely unbelievable. He ends 29-8 in a 13-3. That's phenomenal. You don't see numbers like that. For them to do it on 100 Thieves map choice as well. Coming into this, we said, this is going to be tough for them. Wow, it's going to be a difficult mountain to climb. 100 Thieves been so good, BBL went so bad here. But it doesn't even matter when they play like this.
They didn't stand a chance, did they? I think that first half, how easy.
Guys, I'll be right back, okay? Screen में को देखने दो, मेरा वो काम कर रहा है क्या? Yellow, guys. Can you see me? Can you hear me? We are back, guys. Yellow, guys. Can you see me? Can you hear me? We are back, guys. Yellow, guys. Can you see me? Can you hear me? आवाज आ रही है कोई सीन नहीं है एक मैच ही तो जीतना बचा है बीबीएल का
Seriously, any stopping power, maybe a way to gather that information. 3 out of 3 maps. BBL starting on the defense, and it's been looking so good for them. Definitely the favorite side for them so far in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand if they want to swap Cryo to this Cypher, it makes sense. It's good against that Neon and the Phoenix. No verticality there, and it's also good for helping to contain and get information on those defender side pushes that BBL are so known for. But it does mean you're losing out on that firepower. His chamber is electric, and I can't help but feel like 100 Thieves need a hero to get that momentum for them after a disappointing map 2.
I mean, all that I'm looking for here is the middle brawls. That's what I want to see round after round to see who comes out on top.
Mirror match in terms of composition. Asuna moving away, played that Sage on the last map, specific to split. Now back onto the Phoenix. He and the rest of 100 Thieves try to continue their successful ways against BBL, who have been on fire. So easy on the eyes to watch with their gameplay. Let's see how they do it with 3 different sides to attacks on Haven. For the call on our final map here, let's send it back on over to Tom and Mitch.
Easy on the eyes, Tom. Funny, that's how I describe Degon, but it's time to get into this matchup. Map number 3, after a dominant bounce back from BBL with the backbreaker on split, now there's an opportunity for this to be the saving grace of this series after a shaky start on their first map where BBL, they were 4-0 down, they bounced back, and it was resurgence after resurgence only for it to end in 100 Thieves' hands in overtime. But after a dominant map win, the question now that you said you never ask of BBL, can they bounce back from a loss like that? We now ask of 100 Thieves. That was their choice, and they lost 13 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I think most of what we will have seen in the break is not going to be about strategy coming into this map or like the plan that you have overall or what you could do to beat BBL. It's mostly going to be about making sure that the team is reset and ready to go, because to go 3-0 up and 13-3, that's not an easy way to bounce back. A lot of damage done early, but the first pick did go the way of look at the HP. It's going to be at least Arsenal able to heal himself up a little bit, but they're walking into an aggressive position from Kreven. Feel like he needs maybe slightly more than one, but he's played it so well. He's walked past, he looks the player a little bit deeper. The next one should be for free though. Now the smokes are gone. Players already in position. His pistol round looking a little risky. Speaking of risky, Rose out the window.
Heaven se kood gaya bhai bas sidda.
I couldn't believe when I saw him stood on the edge of the ledge. I thought there's no way.
I thought he was going to wait for his teammate, not just jump.
The thing was the timing could not have been better. The second that he dropped, his opponent turned away. Look, Asuna, the literal second that player emerges from the smoke, Asuna has just turned to look at the spawn, and so Rose gets a double for free. 3 in the pistol for the IGL, and well, we had our conversations about slow starts from Rose. Anything but that. Lights out in the pistol, and that's 14 rounds in a row for BBL now. When you think about that last map. For 100 Thieves, this probably isn't where they have that road to recovery well paved. They are coming in with just pistols. Very light buy. And even two kills is now getting... Oh, this is getting spooky.
And they've made it interesting, that's for sure. Lovers Rock's position has gone completely under the radar. And, well, eventually, he is going to be dealt with. An incredibly costly round, but now it even gets to a point of an opportunity. Never mind. Kreven there to save the day, make sure that that one doesn't get too far out of control. And although it's incredibly costly in a good round, it's still a round for BBL. And I kind of want to give you a little bit of information. You know what's good about being in the venue, being around the players, is sometimes you bump into them, maybe on your way to the bathroom. And one of them, who was running, as he does in-game as well, was Lovers Rock. And as he ran past me, he went, how was that, watching the best player in the world? Talking about his teammate in Larocque, obviously.
Yes.
And my response was, are you sure he's not cheating? Because that performance, I think he ended up on like 470-something ACS, 29 kills.
निकाल लिया भाई इसने तो और ये आगे जा रहा है ये थ्रो है खुला थ्रो है भाई
That's the Up in this buy,
Wow.
I just don't
Wow,
know what I'm watching
He's
sometimes.
got the best player on the run on this team, wasn't he?
They go from being such a well-oiled machine, 13 rounds in a row with, yes, some shakier performances, but a lot of aggression that was tempered on Split. We talked about how different Split and Lotus aggression is because there's less space, there's less avenues, and this time he shift walks through a smoke with an AWP. Yeah, listen, Rose is pissed right now. Decent damage, all things considered. Wow, it's like, what is this guy? Lloyd has Laurent got his hand on his mouse. A wrap around now, 30 HP, a chance to make this incredibly close. That's 3 kills already. A third found, but a fourth might evade him. Bang! Flying under the radar around the backside. It works out, but that is way closer than it should have been. The good thing is, finally, the streak of 15 has come to an end.
Oh yeah, that's the silver lining. I'm pretty sure they inted the beginning of the round and then just basically were like, okay, now give Loiter a chance to try and clutch that one out, because yeah, they just got wrecked in the initial phase, and then this guy, it's like he toggled, just starts wall banging players with a Sheriff, like the individual aim. But yeah, I genuinely, it does feel like it's important. If they had lost that round, I would have basically just called this series done. Instead, there's some vulnerabilities on the other side, but they actually don't need the operator in this round because of the fact that so many players died. There's now light shields on 4 of the 5.
Yeah, we've seen things slipping at times for 100 Thieves. Now BBL are the ones slipping behind enemy lines with 3 players. A very fast rotation into that back lines, but the run it back, it's unavoidable at this stage. Rose was in an awkward position. The first man past the trap, good kill. Cryo falling means the trap now gone. Loida has backup coming his way, 2 already found. Bang! He was about to take that fight on short, but realizes he has to group with his team, but they have no safe haven to fight from. Down below in hell. They've got trouble for Timotino. He's able to at least get one. But stuck in the backside, surrounded. How he's getting out with more. That's a huge round from Timotino, right when they needed him most. Pressure from all sides, but he fights back on every front.
Yeah, he's jumping up, celebrating as well. He's getting loud.
He should be for that round.
I think they need to. That's one of those ones where it felt like it was slipping away from them. The fact that, again, Loiter, he actually catches Asuna as he is coming back from his ultimate, and it looked like that round was about to crumble away up until Timotino clutches it out, brings it home, and levels them up 2-2. No crazy streak of rounds for BBL in this scenario. But you always have to be careful versus those pistols. We saw it. The way they started that streak was with the pistols. Rose isn't shying away from a fight, but Cryo puts him down.
As much as we often write home about these rounds for BBL, about players like Kreven, I like the attempt to spam the drone going through. Considering they're spreading out like this, playing the default, it's not somewhere I'm anticipating a lot of impact. Interestingly though, the cage close to the trap down below, they're never going to see that coming, but it doesn't get the reveal off in time, so no punish, and now the reveal in the corner leaves Kreven isolated and dealt with. Loida dove on the backside. As we said, not a whole lot to work with when it comes to this round. In general, you see how quickly they crumble in the heads-up duels. The backstab from Asuna. Oh, I was going to say that one should be even easier, but 5 HP. Lover's Rock gets a chance to make this a little more costly on the exits if he wants. I do think, though, as this round goes on, 100 Thieves are just going to leave if it comes down to it. They're not going to be baited into going down to the spike or anything like that. So in terms of actually getting damage, it will be difficult. That's a good start. No one else one-shot, though.
Now waiting to try and die to the spike, but you know that 100 Thieves want those orbs. Arsner in particular. It's a little bit close for comfort, but he is going to get that extra orb towards the Phoenix ult. An important one at that. Looking like already they're back. 3 rounds in a row. Seeming a lot more comfortable on Haven. And again, another map where we have seen some struggles for the side of BBL. I would say that going into this map, it is intriguing that both Split and Haven were in there. They've already proved us in one avenue that Split, clearly they put some work in, and also if The Rock, I think, hits the highest ACS of the tournament so far, which is actually pretty close, because I think Starzo had 450, but that only lasted a day.
Oh, nice early aggression from the defensive side. This is what we were waiting to see in previous maps. It took them a while to pull it out, and now a full-on blitz of mid has left 100 Thieves scratching their heads. They looked a little bit overwhelmed by what just came their way. And you'd think after 2 maps of facing BBL, you'd get used to it.
It's crazy that you can win 3 rounds in a row and then lose a round in 10 seconds. That is what it's like playing against BBL. They use a Hunter's Fury, and then they just run at them. And even though they lose the opening pick, I don't even think there was a split second in any of the players' minds like, should I fall back? No, it's like we have committed to whatever the play is. I think it makes Rose's job as an IGL easier in circumstances like that. Not easier overall, because sometimes his players just decide to swing everyone, but in a round where you plan to push, everybody is on the same page. Early fake being sold by the attack inside.
Mike goes at peak.
That ruse, well, it is going to give them Rose. Rose goes looking, and there was a rotation coming back from other players. In fact, the question will be, will Lovers Rock be there in time? No, the Molotov will deny.
Ball crucial time and in a post plant with a Hunter's Fury online, and a Sova sitting towards long with his back protected as well. This becomes a very difficult round for BBL. Dealing with the first players on site will be one thing. As long as Vora isn't peak, because he is peaking right now. He's giving a chance, and Lovers Rock does not need too many chances to walk away with the kills. Now the trap down already. Flank will be a concern, but everyone's coming straight from the spawn. A heads-up duel with LaRock now on the flank around. Timatino had no idea there was a player behind him. They've managed to section this down to just one. The Hunter's Fury
Backstabber.
at this point.
Vora 1v3.
He's brought it to a 1v1, but that flash saved the day. With LaRock having just enough time here to take this one across the line. It will be 4-3 in favor of BBL. The lead just about maintained.
Yeah, real nice try from Vora in that late round scenario, right? Using the Hunter's Fury there would have almost definitely been his demise, being stuck in the corner, and he would have basically needed to kill both of them with it within a second, but especially considering how this started. Like the swing back in gave them that additional little bit of space. I think Lovers Rock does well in this round, but again, it's the response bound by BBL. Lead extended, the 3-round gap, or blip. Look at what's left in the hands of the attacking side. And the thing is, Lovers Rock knows it. His sniper is in hand for that exact reason, although he has missed one of the players, but there is a drone. Is the drone... That could be a problem.
Looks like they're going to commit to that fight. Molly from LaRock cancels drone out. Other side, Rose is the one to take Timatino down. The man who has been so reliable in those fights, but good chance in garage, but the setup, the cage immediately activated. Flash Kevin, but that's neither here nor there. This has pretty much sealed the deal of the round. It connected a W already, and another flash should guarantee it. Look at that, he couldn't see a damn thing.
The thing is as well, I was looking at that from Lovers Rock, because when we missed both of his shots, I was like, he's going to run it in with a shorty. What I didn't realize was LaRock was going to do exactly the same thing out of the door, so I left him with nowhere to go. From a 3-round fight back to some more rounds going the other way. It's time for 100 Thieves to take a timeout. I think they've already witnessed how quickly the game can get out of control. It really does feel that sometimes, like, you want to have those pauses called just to try and break the momentum of BBL. They start getting cocky, confident, taking space away from you that they definitely shouldn't be able to get consistently. But then I also feel that there's the other side of the coin, that the second you take the pause, BBL go, we got him. We are in their heads at this stage. We know that they are feeling the pressure. And if anything, I almost feel like the next round's going to be even more aggressive.
Well, it has worked. It has worked every time, on every map. The aggressive plays, sometimes it's a little bit too much for BBL, but it is feast or famine for these guys, and often the table is plentifully filled. At this point, there's no reason to change it up. And look at the minimap. 4 players towards the C site at the start of the round. You will not see this very often. This will be an immediate push down. And what we can see is that 100 Thieves have 2 players outside the C site, one of which has the spike. If BBL are pacey on this, they could already set themselves up for success in the round. In fact, they're waiting for a signal to send utility through. That's the player's gone and the spike down, but the trap from Bang is sprung. The TP was stuck into the backside and no one was paying attention. He's flown under the radar. He's emerged from the shadows and become a nightmare for BBL as he's found 3 already. That means that Lloyd is completely isolated, trapped on long. Yes, he has the spike, but he's got some hungry mouths looking to take a bite out of him. Lloyd down. This round has crumbled. It looked like they had the right read, the right play. But in the end, their own trap sprung on them. Unless Kreven can make this work, he needs to get out of here alive. And okay, a 1v2.
Managed to deny the plant for the moment. But it will go down for Bang. This has been his round. That TP stuck was a gamble, but it was a gamble that saved them from certain demise. And now for Kreven. Ability. All on the other side of the map. Nothing to play with, and they will peek him together to make sure that that didn't go any further. A nice attempt, but it is 100 Thieves, and more importantly, Bang, that takes them home around.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of the pacing of 100 Thieves. A lot of the time, the utility for Bang has been absolutely perfect. But this was something else entirely. Just so pigeonholed in on that one position. They go towards C long, C players there. They've got utility ready and lined up, and they're throwing in hot hands. But all 4 of these players are only worried about the front, and it is that one small, tiny little detail of the Omen TP that takes them a second too long to piece together. But still big from Bang to hit those shots as well. Hunter's Fury searching for Loida. Run it back used by Asuna. Kreven might be tagged a little bit, trading out the run it backs, but they will indeed keep Asuna away from the big punish. And Kreven still hasn't been detected in the corner. Mistake in the grass, striking. This time the Venom sinks deep, but they respond convincingly.
Yeah, I think Timotino is actually quick enough to get his teammate while he's hiding in that corner. And then the Molotov just forces an awkward fight for Kreven. Looking like a much tighter map than what we saw in the last. The back and forth, leaving us level once again, and the trade outs of those run it backs mean that there's not going to be a massive amount to play with going into the next round. I was very worried that for 100 Thieves this might just be the mental break, but instead, after that back and forth continues, going to be a pause now taken for BBL. Of course, both teams desperate to go into that second half with the advantage, not wanting the pistol to potentially be a defining factor in this map. And for BBL, after having a good streak of rounds, you can understand why, after a couple of blips, their coach wants to get involved.
Well, yeah, I think especially that one. Like I said, it's one of those moments where your attention is elsewhere. Your full focus is on those 2 players swinging. He was on the spike that just fell to the floor. And, you know, at that point, you probably imagine there's 2 or 3 more guys about to come swinging around that corner. Getting ready for it, pushing down to take the space, and you miss a small detail. In moments like this, that can cost you a map, and it can cost you a series. And a game as close as this,
this should do.
Very well might. Maybe I'll take that timeout with 2 rounds left to play for in this half. For 100 Thieves. Certainly coming in better armed. But in terms of ultimates, miles away from the important ones. I think there's a good chance we don't even get to see the half ends, but the same can be said for Larocque. Them both burning those up in the last round. Taking them out of the equation. And a crucial swing part of the map. I do think, though, if I remove the ultimates and we still see that aggression from BBL, I think they'll go back to winning ways. Because the disruption from 100 Thieves in that round, the only thing that saved them was that from the shadows. If Bang even just gets 1 there, the round's over.
Yeah. No, that's true. Although the next round, a little bit more chaotic. And I think the thing that I liked from the last round was there was a lot of chaos. There was players missed in corners. There was bits that you could look at as mistakes, but then you go, okay, 100 Thieves come out of it alive. And I think that was where you look back to the last map where the second chaos ensued. That was where it seemed like BBL just ran away with it. So the fact they're able to weather the storm a little bit more in this map at least fills me with some confidence. I think that TP is a great example of it. That is bang adapting to the chaos that has been this BBL side. And that is why we've maybe seen BBL put on the back foot a little bit here. That, okay, we're not just going to allow you to go in swinging and decimate us. And also, Larocque, for his standards, is now having a quieter map. The last one, he was untouchable, unstoppable. And now I think he's being matched.
Well, indeed, for 100 Thieves, that previous map, it was definitely a blow. 13 rounds in a row. And going 2-0 down in this one. I did start to wonder, is this team crumbling? With it being their map pick previously as well, it's rare to see the blowout like that. Oh, look at that. Come prepared. So they're half back home. Well,
yeah,
it's been an interesting series so far.
technical pause
for me, looking at BBL, is the aggression, is how it gets tempered over time. Because this is a young roster. And you can get away with this. We've seen it in the old days with like your G2 roster back in 2021 where they used to play an insanely aggressive style. They played loose with much less structure than we have nowadays. But nobody punished them. For like a year, they got away with it. They would take fights they shouldn't. They would push when they had advantages. And every time they'd find success. But we always said one day people will figure this out. One day teams will just have the fundamentals, the structure there to then make the adaptations to punish every mistake you're making. And when that day comes, you'll fade into irrelevance. Most of those players don't play anymore. So it kind of shows you where we're at. I view it as a similarity with BBL right now, in that you can play like this without aggression. But Turkey themselves had to adapt. They used to be that. They used to be your, not even G2 clone. They were a more aggressive version of that old G2 roster. They played so aggressive in every single fight. It was a 5v1, they'll push you one by one because every single player on that roster believes that not only can he beat you, that he will beat you 9 out of 10 times. If not, I think they believe 10 out of 10 times. And then they go, oh, I guess it was lag, something like that. The mouse let me down. So for BBL, yeah, it works for now. But if 100 Thieves can crack that code here today, and it's going to be one day, someone's going to figure it out. Someone's going to have that response, and we'll need to see that extra leg too. Oh, that doesn't want to play.
I like that. I like the fact that Larocque is trying to play with anybody that he can. He's clearly not feeling the pressure whatsoever. Oh, he's now playing with Mitch. Oh.
He got me.
He got you.
He got me.
You've taken a massive L.
Over in London, I was doing well. I was slaying people with it. I did my scissors rock method. It always works.
Against the best in the world.
I shouldn't say that. Now people know my
against
method.
the best in the world.
No, we're not against the best, and that's it. He's proven it there in the States.
You need to train.
He's got the dub already.
He can beat you in aim.
क्या सीन है guys? नहीं चालू होगा क्या?
In the rock paper scissors.
ज़्यादा technical problem है क्या इनको?
Ultimately, there's a slightly bigger game at hand.
And
I am looking forward to the conclusion because, of course, it is the talk of the town of who's going to be making into that playoff stage first. Of course, we know, I believe now at this point, we know that it's going to be a EDG on that bounce back after defeating.
I think we are ready, guys.
RRQ in the elimination game earlier on over on the B stream. So ultimately, this team, one of them goes through, gets to go straight into the playoffs. The other has to go back and play EDG, which, yeah, I don't know if that's something anybody would really want.
For 100 Thieves, you come up against EDG there. You know, I believe they've got a chance, for sure. Could definitely be a fun game to watch. But facing EDG in the lower bracket, that's not somewhere I want to be. And then for BBL facing EDG in the lower bracket in a rematch, that's definitely not putting a nice taste in my mouth. I don't think anyone wants to be down there. And I think for most people, maybe with full roster, EDG should be running through that upper bracket run. So for 100 Thieves, for BBL, this matchup, yeah, we've got a second chance, but that second chance is a chance to outswim a shark. It looks like we're getting fist bumps down on the stage. Folks, we might be ready to roll pretty soon. And indeed, we are already underway. 135 on the clock, and aggression from Lovers Rock. He's been caught this time.
पता नहीं क्यों इतना ज़्यादा aggressive जा रहे हैं ये.
Second layer to him. They're suspecting it. The Molly's caught him. He's dead to rights. He's taken full health bar from the hot hands. Oh, that's a devastating way to kick this one off. They're in a 5v2.
Yeah, a little bit of karma, maybe. You've given the game away with how aggressive you're going to be, that your opponents are starting to just throw utility into smokes.
I have the spike.
But either way, looking like they might continue in towards the remaining setup. Prevan and Loiter.
जाहिर है पांचों यहीं पे ही हैं. उनके भी दोनों यहीं पे ही हैं.
An impressive hold.
सात के सात बंदे साइड में.
Likely to give the game away, and already Prevan distracted, leaves Loiter alone. They could just leave and go back the other way, but they want to send this man into the dirt. And he's having none of it. Running out of the site, the round all but concluded. And 100 Thieves will take back the lead.
Ult के लिए एक और बचा है सुना था.
सुना
हंट पे जाएगा.
I do not.
Just getting the weapon for the ninja defuse. Now he thought it was planted on C. It's a mistake. He'll figure it out. But obviously saving this weapon through to the next with the state of the economy is very important. But hold on, there's a player very close. Now he's whiffed on him. This should be it. Lloyd has got to run for the hills, and he has no chance of escape. Asuna right behind him for the flawless round in 100 Thieves camp. That's got to feel good.
Who are you supporting?
Yeah, and it has been a constant.
Support तो मैं BBL को करना चाह रहा था. बट जो इस मैप में मैंने जबरदस्ती का aggression देखा ना ये वाला बिना util के बस सीधा walk करने का.
You could see that throughout this game,
I'm not liking it.
Have had to be more prepared for the opponents just taking these risks through the smoke and shutting down both Lovers Rock and Rose within the first few seconds of the round. Felt like a domino effect. The buy that's coming up here is maybe not the greatest, but
कहाँ लग गया ये ट्रिप? ये सीधा है कि हवा में है कि टेढ़ा है?
These are in the right place at the right time.
फिर वो Lovers Rock आगे जा ही रहा है बस.
An early shutdown, but LaRock has quickly found a kill back. He's denied the ultimate and is still going. Finally, they managed to deal with him, but it is just back and forth all over the shop.
2v2. Wait,
the A side steps close as Rose is already at the gates. He's closing the distance. He's right on the site. He slipped past. They have no idea. The paranoia does nothing. And now out goes the drone to see the last to mark him. Marked for death is Cryo.
Finally round आ गया. Yes, BBL is just like PRX. They W gaming. But W gaming तो सही है. पिछले गेम में कर रहे थे सब util से. अभी तो भाई smoke से सीधा निकल रहा off लेके. Crouch करके. जहाँ पे angle भी ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ एक angle है. एक मार के फटाफट आ जाएगा. तो चार angle देख रहे हैं इतने बड़े.
But hey, if you could win your team 2 rounds as an IGL, I don't think that's too bad.
Aggressive is good, but andha aggressive is not good.
Ultimately, you're going to look at this and go, you win the pistol and it ends up 6-6. It's not the greatest of halves for BBL. I think a good recovery from 100 Thieves, especially when you see that 3-round streak coming in. You might start to get a little bit
attacking map
nervous,
तो not bad. 6-6
well,
up, I guess.
They utilize their pauses. Both sides keeping this one close. And of course, you go back to map number 1 and OT defeat on their own map choice for BBL. Very easily could have taken this one in 2, and I unfortunately won't be saying the same for 100 Thieves. Really struggled on their own map choice. But I'm glad to see that that hasn't moved them. That they are back in this map and back in this matchup. And as said, the victory will take them through to the playoffs, which when you think back to last year, BBL with a completely different squad did make it. 100 Thieves in the group of death failed.
समझ गए तो वो पहले राउंड के बाद और सेकंड गेम के बाद भी साला स्मोक में बैठा स्मोक में मली कर रहा और वो पूरा मर भी गया पीछे भी नहीं जा सकता था.
In BBL's camp, just the fact that this is a roster that after those changes come out to the Yoru, we see them fade a little bit, right? They have to take time to adapt, but they don't have time going from an international to a regional event. The meta shifts multiple times, and playing keep up, playing catch up is more so the issue. They can prove that they're still a team that can make those deep international runs with just one map here. It'd already be solidifying themselves amongst the upper echelon for what wouldn't be the first time this year. That's when you call it proof. as opposed to circumstance. We certainly know they're capable, but after that second map, gotta be honest, I thought it was a definite.
Will you stream और matches of some specific
but
specific नहीं है, but all भी नहीं है.
Timatino's been very impressive as well.
All नहीं होंगे भाई, all बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है. रोज के 6-7 घंटे मैच चलते हैं इनके.
Fantastic there. Rays on the previous.
I can't go
again. But Kraven last 2 maps for BBL.
Yeah, watch party is not my main thing.
Such an important sentinel in terms of staying alive, but now
it's the new area I'm exploring right now.
Although here, he has got the bandit for the pistol.
And that चीज वाले भी बोले हैं कि हम भी करेंगे कुछ, तुम अकेले करोगे.
Patient start from the side of BBL, maybe expecting some aggression on the other side as well. Of course, you do have that double duelist in tow, but it's Timatino's gone walking out. But that's more of the bait. There's a second player up close, but he's been caught by the cam. Good spot. But they're not done fighting. Continuing that brawl towards the A site, maybe trying to force them back into the utility.
Yeah, this is all just a ruse towards that A site, right? Sending the drone out towards long. The cam's been checking the entire time. They want to take any early information, any silent alarms that could start ringing out of the hands of 100 Thieves, so they don't know that there's no one on A long. They don't know that there's no one close on A short. And as a result, they don't rotate to the other side of the map, which means that all alone is going to be Cry. Although, actually, support coming through. Bangs on the quick rotation. Ran through the smoke so quickly, and Bangs found 2. A shock dart kills come in, and all of a sudden, Lloyd is the last man standing. It looked like BBL had managed to strike with a surprise, but 100 Thieves, and especially Bang, looked more than ready for that play.
Oh, for Lloyd to... It then becomes an impossible clutch. Not enough time to do anything, and another high-impact round from Bang. A triple kill over on that C site, and honestly, it's looking like his site at the moment after the TP play we saw earlier, and now holding on that side of the map.
How they lose this?
Even just the way he danced around his own utility.
बहुत ज़्यादा bottleneck हो गया भाई, वहाँ पे जगह इतनी सी है. कुछ backside util उसने सारी तोड़ दी, उसके मुंह पे कर दी.
To grant them the lead.
सीटी से ओमन आ गया, वो स्मोक से बाहर निकल गया. उसकी ट्रेड लेनी चाहिए थी उसी टाइम. एक बंदे को सीटी निकल के उसके साथ.
From the survivability and keeping the smokes online, but mainly those paranoias
वो इधर आ रहे थे, दो वो भी
on fire. They got 100 Thieves. Some, I think, 2 of the 3 rounds that they found on
ये लौंडा कौन है जिसके हाथ में ये बस झटके दिए जा रहा है?
Came off the back of that paranoia, perfectly timed, perfectly positioned. But now he's starting to have big individual rounds as well. Top of the scoreboard for 100 Thieves at the moment. And that's a dangerous prospect. The From the Shadows success, no doubt, giving him a little bit more confidence. Peppering those players from behind. It looks like we might have another small break in the action.
Hey, technical break आ गया. क्या सीन हो रहा है?
Rematch. I'm confident this time, to be honest. I think the strategy is to start with paper. He started scissors last time, so he'll change.
ऐसे बड़े-बड़े ब्रेक आएंगे तो फिर 100 Thieves जीत जाएगी.
Right.
Very embarrassing.
वो खेल रहे हैं क्योंकि कुछ लगा के.
It was already embarrassing.
अपने लौंडे थोड़े से गुस्से में, aggression में
so I
बस.
can say I won no matter what.
But you could have done that anyway, but you know.
That's true, actually. They didn't
just
see
no
it,
one would have believed you.
वो रहा है वो.
He was asking me what I picked as well, so I could have just lied. Like, they'd be like, oh yeah, I picked scissors, mate. Unlucky.
Yeah, but that would have kept you up at night.
It would have. Yeah, I need to win fair and square, and I will one day. I'll figure them out. Well, let's see if 100 Thieves can figure them out. As right now the lead is already found and a chance to extend it even further up against the Pistols. But this is where BBL do some of their finest, and by that I mean stress-inducing work. But the Pistols, it's only 2 bandits to work with. Majority classics. And Loida has ripped Asin's head off. I believe he was blind also.
EWC production.
Giving them an opener.
नया ना अभी तो एक तो साल हुए हैं, थोड़ा time दो.
Spam shots going through. 3 players will be on this
Spectre recover कर लिए इन्होंने बहुत fast. और 3 बंदे और ये पे बैठे हैं.
Absolutely nothing to do with it, and a lot of this is just being covered off by utility.
कितना group dub खेलते हैं भाई ये सारी टीम. ऐसा नहीं कि एक बंदा कहीं आसमान में.
Trying to hold players to that side of the map, and it has done exactly that. But now they need to get running. They need to get moving.
अरे नहीं आ रहा.
As Cryo's here completely alone. Bear in mind that Spectre has been put into the Neon's hand. A good trip will get one, but it's an immediate trade back. Solid work from Larocque. the plant being baited to try and get somebody to try and swing if they were close. Instead, though, the shock dart will come through, do quite a lot of damage, in fact, to Larocque, but he still stands.
Plan found for Larocque as well, run it back, and this is an all-out aggression from the attacking side. They're going straight into the spawn, but the stun back in return has at least bought a moment of reprieve for this squad. It doesn't last long. Lover's Rock.
30 HP बचा था, पीछे वाला मर गया इसके.
Kill feed says Bang killed him after he died, which is, it must have been instantaneous. But what a play from BBL to come into that round having as little as they did, 2 bandits. Find the opening.
मरने के बाद बंदा मारती है.
Pretty sure Larocque was flashed when he found that opening.
gun से.
Or was it Loiter?
Loiter.
Loiter, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was blind. That's crazy. Eats the flash and just pops the headshot. Anyways, fair enough.
And that Spectre's what ends up closing the round as well. So that is a bitter defeat for 100 Thieves. They get the start they were looking for, but it really does feel like nothing is separating these two teams. Well, now you get that massive injection of cash. Look at the investment into rifles for the side of BBL. Of course, the only freebie is Lover's Rock. There's going to have the outlaw, which, to be honest, would have been his weapon of choice. I like this push-up, though, from Latino, but unfortunately the trip is going to be in his way. No sneaky play to be had. Hoping maybe there was a way under it, but
backstep call ले दिया. Rose ने बोल दिया उसको.
Another for Lloyd. Walk out of the smoke. Almost got a lot for Asuna. Damage, but nothing to convert into kills. The problem with having the pistols, of course. And the rest of the squad now just going to sit back and wait. Let the spike explode and avoid giving any orbs away. When you look at the orb play for BBL already, the ultimate economy, the main man who would want those already has them. Larocque would run it back for the next round, the full buy of 100 Thieves. And especially on the attack side, like, well, obviously on the defense, in terms of playing the retake, it's going to have a lot of value. So for Asuna coming into the next round, if they can find an orb, if he finds a pick, that's going to be huge. But Larocque can get them in. And the problem is, Larocque could probably just run it aside anyways, and I'll give him a pretty good chance of taking it. If he has the opportunity to go at it twice, it's a different story altogether.
But that's what he was doing on the last map, on the race. He was just dropping down off high angles and then while landing, having enough time to correct and insta-headshot people. Like, his performance in the last map was phenomenal. And yeah, he's been a little bit quieter in this one, but with Loiter stepping up, Kreven up there as well, they are now in the lead. Now the investment into the Odin is
same से खेल रही है team. 7-7 9-9 11-11.
But it seems like they found their gap. They found the place where they want to put the pressure on, and that is the seaside.
2 kill वहाँ 1 kill वहाँ 3 kill से फर्क आ गया ground.
The Odin spam is just to break that window wall and maybe do a little bit of damage, but nobody's there. BBL are playing a very direct game straight into this C site, but already the rotates are there. 100 Thieves after reading that. Hot Hands hasn't reached fully into backside. Run it back now, online. Larocque already tagged down to 46. The flash, though, might get him an opening. Never mind. Bang and Vora. With Rose and Lover's Rock down, they might think about leaving this site, running for the hills, and that's exactly the port of call. Problem is, the cam saw them, and Loiter gets spammed to death, leaving Larocque to do it all. A 1v5. Hey, listen, I said second lease of life. This guy would be dangerous, but not against these odds.
Yeah, fantastic hold. The initial delay, the catch of the flank immediately, and then just the pace at which we saw that rotation come in from 100 Thieves. Even though they left one man alone on that site, they felt incredibly ready to make that move back in. Like, look at the time they actually pushed the backside. There's already about 4 players ready and waiting for BBL to try and make that move. Even still, it's another investment, but really does feel like this is going to go all the way. Neither team really able to find a steady footing just yet.
There they are.
Oh, Timotino has taken a lot of space and hearing a lot of steps. The rotations are already coming towards this A site from 100 Thieves. They shouldn't expect him this early to be tucked in that corner. Rose spotted the edge of it, but unfortunately couldn't land the shot. And so BBL now, having lost all that space in mid, you can't really just commit to the A site. You know the rotates have probably happened. You have to kind of re-clear that mid space so they don't have an immediate flank on you. And with no information towards the C side either, BBL are playing this round blind because of how this round started.
Still, Now they've been spotted. They've been seen
पे कोई
around
है
that
नहीं
middle
साइड
area,
पे
but
अभी.
it does seem like 100 Thieves are playing into
But
the
easy
retake this
retake
time.
यार
You
उनका.
have the run it back available to you. Maybe hoping for a kill off the back of the trip. Instead, he goes walking out. I'm surprised by that. It looked like a retake setup instead. Damage being done onto the ult, but even still, they've got to be careful. And advantage still held. Timotino, the first to make a move. Creven's shot not connected and bypassed by his opponent, leaving Lovers Rock in an impossible scenario. An easy cleanup for 100 Thieves and maybe a gamble or two taken by Cryo. I was surprised by that swing, but even still, disrupting the take of BBL and now
Easily
taking the
round
lead
ले लिया
back
था
for
इन्होंने.
themselves.
Easily.
I was looking at the minimap when he opened cam. Did you see if he saw them on site? Because I'm guessing he just...
I think so.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
I
unhinged.
thought he saw them in the cam.
That's
Maybe
unhinged then. Is if he missed them, if they were behind the box, then that makes sense. You know, you just think, oh, I can get out on the site a little quicker before they get in. But I guess he did look like he was ready to take the fight. Swung out with intentions and, well, can't knock him for trying. A round win found nonetheless in 100 Thieves with the lead, 9-8. The thing is, for BBL, they're still able to buy into this one, and the credits could shape up okay depending on how this goes. Even if they do lose, grab a plant out of this situation, it won't be the end of the world. Few ultimates that are close by as well. But the reality is 100 Thieves, they have plenty of credits. They can keep rebuying. They also have ultimates that are coming online. The Hunter's Fury especially for Vora. Lead under their belt. A little bit more momentum, and they'll be across this line.
So well placed, but it's just whether or not he moves at the wrong time. Drone needs to be denied. Instead, they're going to try and catch him. Maybe not the best position anymore. Never mind. The Odin is cleared. Pinged up is going to make it awkward, but instead, Asner again.
I think it's
this is looking like a complete shutdown, and now they're almost tempted.
I think it's done, guys. I'm sorry.
Rifle retrieve for Loiter. It's the deadly duo that were
desired
by many. But turning this round seems impossible. They are boxed in.
Yep, and now they know it. Timotino striking from behind with the operator, puts it down to just Lorock with 4 players on their way. And a very good idea of exactly where he can be. If he doesn't even get spammed behind that box, I'll be surprised. And now he certainly will. Asuna takes him down for double digits on 100 Thieves.
Confidence down हो गया भाई
अब flawless fashion. If you thought their money was a problem before, it most definitely will be now. For BBL, after a close, incredibly close first map, going to OT, and then a dominant second in their favor.
ये नहीं घुस पा रहे, सी नहीं घुस पा रहे.
The very
पिक उनको मिल जा रही है पहली.
It's been a back and forth series.
पहली बार आए थे
Even the way that first map started,
सबको पता है
it looked like there was an opportunity for 100 Thieves to run away with it. Then the same for BBL.
स्टाइल बदला यार हल्का हल्का. थोड़ा slow खेला.
In map number 2, after 100 Thieves took the victory, I was going in saying, oh, they need to have a dominant half. Well, they had a dominant 13 rounds in a row. And now, this map has been anything but dominance. It's been back and forth all the way through. 3 rounds in a row is the most that any team has managed to garner in a streak. And well, after a few in a row, that's the moment that a pause comes through. Believe from the BBL coaching staff, a chance potentially for them to get some wise words from Key, but it's a scenario where, yeah, you fought tooth and nail. You've shown that maybe there's more depth to your map.
चला रहा है ना साला क्योंकि वो rush कर रहा है ना ऐसा. उनका slow वाला तो system है नहीं.
Split and obviously Haven being a little bit further down their pecking order.
Odin करेगा ही.
But if this is the first time we see 4 rounds in a row,
But Odin all the time, and
I am in
silver.
Well, this is the last stand of BBL.
Style के हिसाब से change होना
पड़ता है. About to hit 11. It will have to be a gargantuan effort to get back in the game if they lose this one. And the full bike comes into play. No credits for the next spam from Asuna. He's put under pressure. Vora delivers, but the kills at least for now. Not picking a favorite. Trading back and forth. Creven's done his work. But there is much more to be done. BBL calling the freeze for now, or perhaps the full-on retreat. Leaving the A site, making their way If it's towards those pings, I fear they may go C. Okay, into the window. I think they were saying be careful of the C push, and that's a good thing because now look at where Timotino is. The operator's waiting on C, watching for garage, watching for C long. But the B site, the easier fight. Still Bang to deal with. He's actually stepped away.
And Fury could deny them. Look at the position of Vora. You don't play this spot for no reason. He's trying to get them, and he's caught Loiter, his third kill of the round already. Rose will get his own ultimate online from this plant, but it's finding a position where he's able to use it. That's going to be far more of a problem. In fact, I think he's just going to have to commit to playing the site alongside his teammate. LaRock at the back.
में क्या 7 का सिस्टम होता नहीं है, लॉन्डे बोलते नहीं है, कुछ करते नहीं है.
Are still unknown.
इनमें सब बोलते हैं.
Flanking through middle that they have to be aware of. The spam shot's not bad, but not quite the kill and Bang.
कहाँ जाके देगा? यहीं दे दे.
Rose, a nice first shot, but he's so desperately low. That's the ball. 5 HP for Rose. But
5 HP clutch भाई.
It seemed like it was BBL's darkest day, and Rose decides to bloom. A fantastic clutch from a man on 5 HP against players held in much higher regard than him. That is something else. It was an even trade situation to start this out, but it looked like the work was done.
Throw कर दिया भाई ये नियॉन ने थोड़ा throw कर दिया. पिस्टल लेके जाता 5 HP बताया तो राइट क्लिक देता.
Not 1 second, especially when I see
easy classic था ऑप्शन मारना है भाई. ये थ्रो करते हैं भाई ये लॉन्डे इतना डिसिप्लिन नहीं खेलते, मैंने ये बात देखी है. CS बहुत डिसिप्लिन होता है इससे ज़्यादा. कुछ भी बकचोदी उसमें.
We mentioned it. Nobody has broken that trend throughout this map so far, and still nobody has broken that trend. It took a 1 versus 3.
क्या गया? अरे इतना कम डैमेज कैसे है उसका? इतना कितनी दूर से लग गया उसको?
Oh, the run it back from Asuna right away. They heard players in mid, and he just wants to full pressure them. Still plenty of room left on that for him to find a battle, but not one that he wins. Rose dealing with that ultimate. And BBL have plenty of their own in response to Hunter's Fury that had a lot of impact for 100 Thieves in the previous round. Now online for Rose, thanks to his big clutch. The finger guns there. Fuller's Rock wants to up the pace and play pacey without that operator. Might be the way to entry into garage. And indeed it will be. Activated, fired in, and now with the stun, this becomes very dangerous. But that Molly has bought Asuna a lot of time. He's able to slip out, he's made it to long. He should have been dead to rights.
That paranoia also helped him. Bang slowing down, walking on the other side, but LaRock's won the fight. Spike now going back towards A. An aggressive push coming in with the lurk. Revan has been dealt with. Leaves things back into a 3v3 scenario. Now they know exactly where their opponents are sitting. The aggressive heaven spot was bait, but Rose has been dealt with immediately. Puts them back. A 2v3, another clutch scenario needed for BBL.
It was a big round for LaRock, and now Lloyd is joining him. 2 versus 2. Bang and Cryo to find. And they're split as well. They're coming from different sides. Time is against them now, ticking. Ever quicker is the spike. The timing for Bang perfect as he catches Lloyd, and now just LaRock left to deal with. Caught in the corner and taken out with plenty of time left. 100 Thieves. They managed to make it all the way to 11.
Hey, they definitely got a little bit spicy in the middle. And a good recovery towards the end of the round. The breakback's also going to cause massive issues for the economy of that BBL side. Bear in mind that only a singular player survived in the last round. They were having to utilize Guardians, etc. And with advantages found in this round, they weren't able to capitalize. Even the shots connected, it was just timing of that push through the smoke. And you can see what they've had. It's LaRock with a run it back and a rifle. Everybody else will be down to the pistols. They're going to need him to have a lights out round.
This, if ever, is his moment. All eyes on LaRock. The Phoenix with the ult online. And in fact, this push towards the seaside. Oh, it started well. They've actually managed to send Timotino backwards on 40 HP. Unfortunately, but that rifle of Larocque is all we're worried about. How much can he get there? It's being caught by a trap. More time delayed, more time wasted. The op now fires, but it catches him as he's fading into the... Oh my goodness, the shorty came out for Timotino. Cryo rushed in for a big side swipe, and what looked to be a scary round with that run it back leading the charge with the op shots missed with the damage onto Timotino ends up as a flawless.
Set up and ready to close out this map. The third and final in the series. They've had to fight tooth and nail to claw their way through their maps, with Split in the middle being a different story.
10 HP में वो साला भाई बैक साइड से हिला नहीं तो खड़ा ही रहा बैक साइड नहीं छोड़ूंगा सेम एंड द साइड पे
having that extra
गलत हुआ यार उस साइड पे
will be coming up next week. And for BBL,
लेफ्ट से लगाया उसने देखा है लगाते हुए देखा
having to try and fight versus EDG again. It's a
yep
faster
उसने
pace
देखा है बट
again,
मार दिया
living
लारोक ने दिया
for the moment.
अरे एक बंदा यहाँ बैठा है उधर देख लेफ्ट में देख अरे पीछे अरे बेंच पे टाइमिंग अरे क्या कर रहा है
found another victim. Leaves another disadvantage TP to the other side of the map with the spike in fact.
एक बंदा वहां निकल के एक बंदा यहाँ गया.
Mates are nowhere to be seen.
Very realistic.
They're waiting for the rotations to be pulled.
वो ए पे है भाई कर दे प्लांट्स उधर डरे हैं कि जिम कर.
I don't know. I feel like it would leave me confused, and I can see everything that's going on.
It's too risky as well. He has no idea if there's a player close to him in heaven. You plant, he kills you. Nobody can stop the defuse. Have to wait for the rest of the team. But the problem is, the longer that takes, and they don't know if short or long are clear, they have to take their time. But now 100 start to realize they're not going to keep 3 players outside C. They're going to push. They're going to go through mid, through garage, see that nobody's there. Eventually, you're going to have Asuna check C long. No one's there. And all the pieces start to add up and starts to make sense. 30 seconds on the clock. As soon as they're spotted here, there's going to be a player on their back immediately.
Sorry, I'm not
BBL
dead,
should expect that.
I never
no noise
get
across the map. Somebody must be contacting somewhere. But can they expect them to be this close? Bang! Drawing their eye to start with. Still has a paranoia, and that's going to be set up any moment now. They're waiting for it. In fact, there's the paranoia. Now the swing comes through, and he misses! It's a whiff from Timotino! A lifeline for a BBL that looked dead to rights moments ago. 3 players, all from the same angle. A spray down could solve this. Could give BBL another chance, but Loida has to do it all. Rose showed him it was possible, but not this time. 100 Thieves, 13
GG's guys.
with a bounce back from the desolation of Split. They've locked in and planted their flag in playoffs.
Last year at EWC, they were placed into the group of death. Of course, a lot has changed since then. New players, new blood. I think Timotino has definitely been one of the most exciting to add into this roster.
Chalo guys,
of coaching staff as well.
जिताना तो BBL को था.
They've not made it to before. The playoff stage is theirs. And for BBL, this means another fight needs to be had.
तो अब मिलते हैं आपसे.
To make it into that playoffs bracket later in the tournament. It is a big step up from 100 Thieves. And a victory.
What's my reward? Reward कुछ नहीं only.
And I think you see exactly what I was talking about.
Reward है अपने दिमाग में. वो मैं जीत गया.
Almost as beautiful as 100 Thieves game.
चलो भाई, मिलते हैं guys.
It's great to see them living their best life down there on the stage, and I said
good night.
There, right behind.
ਅੱਖਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੁਰਮਾ ਕਾਲਾ ਬੁੱਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਲਾਰੇ ਨੀ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਮੁਸਕਾਰਾ ਝੂਠਾ ਜੋ ਪਰਦੇ ਪਾਵੇ ਨੀ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਆ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਾਏ ਤੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਚਾਰੇ ਨੀ